Daytona, three of the world's most prestigious motor races. But there is nothing like Saturday night at Knoxville. Strap in, it's next on Speed. Speed Channel welcomes you to the 44th annual Knoxville Nationals, presented by the Midwest Ford Dealers. 130 of the world's greatest sprint car drivers, such as Danny Lasowski, Sammy Swindell, and the king of the outlaws, Steve Kinser, have gathered at the most famous dirt track on the planet. These slide job superheroes are set to battle it out for $125,000 and the most sought-after trophy in sprint car racing. Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Shaheen. Welcome to the Midwest Mecca of Mud, the Marion County Fairgrounds, Knoxville Raceway. We are so excited to have you with you because for the first time, Speed Channel is proud to present 4 hours of live coverage of the biggest sprint car race on the planet, the Knoxville Nationals. If they turn a wheel here tonight, you're gonna see it live. Get comfy, fluff up the pillow, make sure the cooler's stocked and the popcorn's ready to go. It is gonna be a wonderful night of winged sprint car racing. It's gonna be fantastic, and we've got a lot of great stuff to show you. And who else to join me but my best pal when we go sprint car racing, Brad Doty. You've raced here before. How big a deal is this to the guys out there in the infield tonight?
I'll tell you, ever since I was a little kid reading about this here, I know you think that was a long time ago, and it was, but even then it was a big deal. It's gotten bigger and bigger every year. This thing is huge, 125,000 to win. These guys are so pumped up. This is going to be a great Nationals.
Now this is all about points racing, if you will. The first 3 nights that you're here, there were 130 cars that entered this year's Knoxville Nationals. Let's show you who is in. 20 guys have qualified. There's 4 spots open. But Brad, the biggest deal is who's not in.
Steve Kinser, 14-time Nationals champion, back in the C-Main. Sammy Swindell back there. Joey Saldana's in the C-Main. And usually we talk about the B-Main being loaded up, but this C-Main is very loaded up. It's going to be a long night for some of these guys.
2 of the biggest names that we saw at the front of that graphic is a man that's going to start on the pole tonight, Terry McCarl. And the other person that's going to be starting outside of row number 2, a 3-time winner here, Danny Lasowski. They got into it a little bit last night. They have tremendous respect for each other, but a huge, huge rivalry. How do we expect this thing to come out? Well, let's show you a little bit about what happened last night. They almost got together right here. That's Terry in the black car, Danny in the white car.
Yeah, Danny, a little bit of bobble coming out of 4, bounced up a little bit. Terry McCarl turned right. He didn't like it. They almost get together again down the back straightaway.
And when it was all done, Danny got the position. However, he forgot to go to the weigh-in. There was a little tire rub in between the two after the checkered flag. Might have thrown Danny off a little bit. He missed the weigh-in. They docked him for that. He ends up, instead of getting 5th place points, he got 10th place points. That's why he starts on the outside of row number 2. And one of the men who will be working pit road for us tonight is Dave Argebright. He has more on this story.
Well, Ralph, we've got the pole setter here. No question there's a great rivalry with you and Danny Lasowski. Is it any kind of a distraction, Terry McCarl, starting on the pole with the rivalry in full flourish from last night?
No, I kind of thrive on those type of things. That's just my personality. And, you know, Danny and I have been going out a long time. And, you know, he's the champion. I'm the underdog. The way I see it, pressure's on him. We just got lucky and got on the front row. And we've been working real hard. And hopefully we can stay out there.
$125,000 on the line to win this. Is this race at all about the money?
No, it never is. It's about the money Monday morning when you go to put it in the bank, but it'll be spent. If you get 125, you'll probably spend 150, but it's about that trophy and having my name on that plaque up there. I've been coming to this place since the wooden grandstands, and cost 50 cents to get in back then, and it's a dream come true to start on the front row, and if we could win it, it'd be even a bigger dream.
How's your race car? What are you looking for tonight?
Well, I'm just looking, Carl Kinser taught me a long time ago, I don't worry about anybody else, I just worry about the racetrack and worry about my car. If we can get our car good as we've been in the last month or so, I don't think anybody can beat us, but if they get their car a little better than us, then, you know, we can be beat by anybody. So my focus is on the track tonight and trying to get our car prepared to where I can run the top and the bottom. You really can't set up for one or the other here. You got to be able to run all over the place in this kind of race and be fast wherever you have to be fast.
Well, Terry McCarl, definitely one of the favorites. I'm joined tonight in the pits by my colleague, Tony Bachhoven. Let's hear from Tony.
Well,
Thanks, Dave. Danny Lasoski's won this race 3 times. Last night in the scramble, dude, didn't earn enough points to start on the front row. I know that's where you really wanted to be.
It really is. You know, that's what the scramble's all about. We started dead last, run 12 laps wide open, ended up 5th, and at the time I didn't have a clue where we finished. I come into my pit area, and evidently they wanted 5 to go to the scales. They had me go to the scales. We were fine. And then Cappy decided, since I went to the pit area, that he just put me back to 10th. So we'll just deal with it. We got 30 laps. If you got a good race car, you can win it from 4th.
A driver with your experience starting outside row number 2 shouldn't be any problem.
I'll give her 110% and hope for the best.
Let's go back upstairs with Ralph and Brad.
Thank you, Tony. And one of the reasons why it sounds a little echoey, there's a brand new, beautiful big screen TV, if you will, that's been built here over turns 3 and 4. And we are live tonight to the grandstands here at Knoxville Raceway. And look at this huge crowd that has packed the Marion County Fairgrounds. And they are ready for Saturday night at the Nationals. Knoxville, Iowa is a town of will be packed into the spectacular dirt track raceway. It's going to be a wonderful night of racing here on Speed Channel. And let's show you what you're going to see here tonight that this crowd is going to be enjoying along with you. 5 races, different features. The back end, the first thing you'll see is the E, and Brad, it's what we call running the alphabet. If you haven't made it into the A, you got your work cut out for you tonight.
As you can see there, only the top 2 finishers from the D or the E transfer into the D and all the way up through to 4 and go to the A main, out of the B main. It is a long way from back there.
Now, I told you we were going to show you everything that rolls here tonight. And we're going to begin that with the E feature hot laps. Now, Brad, this is just a couple laps. What are the drivers doing?
Well, right now, this is the track is greasy, so they're not going to learn a lot about race setup. But what they're going to do is make sure that no fluids are leaking. Mainly, get the butterflies out of the drivers. Get those drivers to get the rust knocked off. Get those cars warmed up, and again, just check the fluids. Go back and tell the crew what they need to do possibly to change it, but right now they're not learning a lot.
I know the fluids the goosebumps have been big on you and I. How tough are they on the drivers right now to have those goosebumps down there?
Until they got in those race cars, they were huge. That helps them. That's why I said get the butterflies out. When those drivers get in those cars, get out on that racetrack, that's when you can actually calm down as a driver and get all this tension away from you and get the focus back to just driving that race car. As you can see, the car's sliding around. That means the track is greasy.
And we'll see that change over the course of the night. If you're new to wing sprint car racing, you will see the racetrack change color throughout the course of the night. And that means different things as we set these race cars up towards tonight's A feature.
Well, that's the beauty of dirt track racing, Ralph. It not only changes night to night, but it'll change throughout the night. So again, these early hot laps, the track is wet. They got to put a lot of water on it, so it's a good racetrack for the A main. These guys are working in. They're literally throwing some of that stuff off, and you can see it flying all over the race cars. The crews are going to have a pretty tough job cleaning these race cars and wiping them down, but again, they got to have the track wet early like this, so it's a good racetrack later on.
And you bring up the point of the cars getting packed with mud. That's not something you got to allow to happen. There's Roger Rager, one of the oldest drivers in the field, and what a legendary story he is. He told me about one night he was racing here, and he told his car owner, I think I can hold it wide open all the way around. His car owner said, I don't think so. I'll prove you wrong. He went out after he got pushed off and was wide open the first time around. He said, well, that wasn't so bad. So he held it wide open the next time around. Got to turn 3, launched it out of the ballpark. The crew went looking for him. He was so far out back then it was nothing but a cornfield over turn number 3. And when they finally found the car, he wasn't there. Roger had climbed out, unbuckled himself, went into the grandstands to watch some sprint car racing.
Only Roger Rager. What I remember about him is the school bus engine running Indianapolis 500. He got famous running a school bus engine, and here he is still racing a sprint car. I remember seeing him on a non-wing sprint car years ago on TV. It's great to see him still out here.
Roger Rager, Steve Kinzer, Danny Lasoski, they're all here, and we're going to have it all for you tonight here on Speed Channel. It's going to be a wonderful night of sprint car racing. When we come back, we'll show you the highlights from Wednesday night's preliminary night. It's Knoxville on Speed. Coverage of the 44th annual Knoxville Nationals is brought to you by Ford and the Midwest Ford dealers. Ford is the official truck of NASCAR. Welcome back to the Marion County Fairgrounds. The sun is dipping over the corn to the west, back towards Des Moines. And the Knoxville Raceway is a busy one. There were 130 cars that entered this week. Half of them ran on Wednesday. The other 65 ran on Thursday. You score points every time you're on the racetrack when you're qualifying or racing in a heat or a feature. All of that sets you up for Friday. Those that did not qualify based on points get another couple of shots at it. Otherwise, if you were already in, you got to run a scramble, which sets you for your starting position, the A, B, the C, wherever you might be. Let's take you back now to Wednesday and show you the highlights from Wednesday's preliminary night. Craig Delansky with his brand new Hawaiian Tropic sponsorship was the fast qualifier. New Zealander Steve Walsh, red card, white wing. Watch this, hang on. Big flip down the backstretch. They can crash on the front straightaway as well, as Bob Bennett showed Brad in that 3 car.
Hard hit right there. Boy, this landing a sudden stop right there. Vicious crash.
Heat number 5 action. This was pretty good. That's Donnie Schatz in the yellow 15 and the king of the outlaws, Steve Kinzer, up top in the Quaker State 11. The Parker Store 15 and Schatz, boy, they swapped it back and forth.
Schatz got a little high there. He tried to cut down on Steve to block him. Steve was able to get to the inside, but watch Schatz turn the car back to the inside.
That was a battle for a transfer spot, which went to Donnie at the line. Sammy Swindell, always a big favorite here. C-main winner, but he moved on to the B and thing went broke.
Yep, he broke right there, pulling in. That sets him back, put him in the C-main for tonight.
Steve Kinzer, fastest car in the A feature. Look at how he shreds through the traffic. He was real good till lap 4.
That was Lance DeWeese on the bottom. He literally started in the back. Look at all those cars he passed in just 4 laps. He was a rocket ship.
Then it just all went bad for Steve. He's had engine problems. He had engine problems in his heat race earlier, and then on lap 4 of the A feature, it blew up on him again.
They've had some engine troubles this year, some pieces breaking inside their engines.
The guy who was fastest was that black 83 car. The son of the legendary driver from California, Tim Kading, son of Brent Kading, wins the A main on Wednesday. He's going to be a threat here tonight.
He is pumped up and ready.
Now, even though he won, he didn't lead the points. And Brad, that's because of lots of different things. Like we said, heat races and qualifying points.
Especially qualifying. Qualifying is so important here at the Knoxville Nationals. You get 200 points for qualifying, 100 for the heats, and another 200 for the main event. So even though he won that main event, he's still not one of the top point getters.
And you can see how bad of a night it was for Steve Kinzer, Sammy Swindell, and another big name, Joey Saldana.
Yeah, look at how more points that Joey has there. He fell out early in his heat race, put him way back in the C-main on that night.
Top guys with the points that night. 2 men from the East Coast, Fred Raymer, one of the best out of Pennsylvania, and Chad Kavanaugh, the 2-time All-Star Series champion. With more on Freddie Raymer, let's head down to Dave Argabright.
Well, out east, they call him Fast Freddie Raymer, one of the top sprint car drivers in the country. You know, we're just talking about this. Isn't it great to not be in the E-main hot laps?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's quite a relief after Wednesday night, you know, to be locked in. Just hopefully we can make something out of this week now.
Year after year, you're one of the top winners in the country. Last year, though, you had a little bit of a down year. This year, you've come back. Now you lead the country again with 21 sprint car wins. Freddie, what's been the difference?
Well, we changed some stuff on the car, went to some different shocks with BRPs, but probably just the attitude.
Attitude, I like it. You know, what about your race car tonight? You don't run out here a lot. You're starting 8th. What about tonight? What do you need to do?
Well, we were off in the scramble last night. We were pretty good our preliminary night. Got a little bit of help, and the guys, you know, we talked about it, and they changed the car around. If they get it close, I'm going to run the shit out of it, you know, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Fast Freddie, is he fast enough? We'll see. Let's go to Tony Bachhoven.
Well, Chad Kavanaugh, as Ralph said, the 2-time All-Star champion in pursuit of your 3rd career championship. Tonight you come to the Nationals with your best starting spot inside of row number 2.
Yeah, this is definitely our best start at the Nationals. You know, it's got to really thank the Underground Utilities, Eagle Chassis, and Kistler Engines. You know, my crew were getting us here, and we need to just take advantage of what we got started here and try to get a really good finish here at the Nationals and maybe come out with a win.
Does it work well for you having your brother as crew chief, as that's what made you so successful this year?
Yeah, I think it is a big plus to us. You know, being together our whole life like that, we kind of work without even communicating and work really well. You know, we're pretty close here to Kings Royal, and it'd be just a little bit nicer to get the Knoxville Nationals, I do believe.
He finished 14th last year. Keep your eyes on the blue number 15K.
All right, Tony, thanks. And let me apologize for Fast Freddie Raymer. Brad, the adrenaline as you're getting ready for this night is so unbelievable that things come out that you weren't planning on saying.
Yeah, Fred's a colorful guy. He gets pretty wound up. He gets pretty emotional, and he's so intense in his race car. You could almost see in his face he knew that he maybe shouldn't have said, but hey, it's the Knoxville Nationals, and he's focused on that race car.
There's Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the 40R car. Brad, that's a car we should be planning on seeing some, or Clint Garner, we should be planning on seeing some stuff out of Ricky tonight, actually. That's Ricky's car.
Yeah, Tony Wilson, crew chief, or one of the crew members on the Ron Pack car I ran here, ran the Alphabet, came out of the C, the B and the A back in 1985, is working on this race car, so they could possibly run toward the front.
You know a little bit about that, don't you?
Yeah, again, it's, you know, there's been a few of us come through the Alphabet, as they say, but boy, I tell you, that puts the pressure on, but man, it's great if you can get it done, and there's some, as we said earlier, a lot of guys going to have to try to do that tonight.
Is it tougher on the car, the crew, the driver, or all the above?
Yep. It's tough on everybody. You know, you're just constantly working on that race car and thrashing and trying to make it faster. Crew, driver, everybody.
Brad, you were fairly young the first time you came here. Cameron Dotson, very young, just a teenager. What's he experiencing here tonight in the 37?
Well, I wasn't nearly that young. I got Rookie of the Year here in 1982, finished 4th in the race. I believe I was 21 or 22 years old, had some racing. I don't know, man, 16 years old, and these young guys, I mean, we've seen a lot of young sprint car drivers nowadays with a lot of experience under their belts, but we've seen some of the jitters that the veterans have. It's got to be tough on these younger guys.
Earlier, we didn't get a chance to finish it off. We were talking about all the mud that gets packed up on these cars, especially now when the track is so wet. How important is to get as much of that off the car before you get into the future?
Well, with the weight rule now, 1,375 pounds with the driver, it's not quite as critical, but again, they want them looking good. They want them clean. You know, definitely off the wings. You want the mud off of those wings so it has good clean air over and under, not that big top wing and the nose wing. Get the best downforce of these race cars.
The cars have to weigh 1,375 pounds with the driver when they roll across the scales after the race. The engine's producing anywhere from 860 to 870 horsepower, and then buried in the belly of that beast is an alcohol-burning engine that, boy, when you stomp on it, you better be pointed in the right direction.
These things, there's no clutch, there's no flywheel, it's direct U-joint, direct drive, and it's instant throttle response, fuel injected, and boy, you better, as you said, have it pointed straight when you mash the throttle.
It is one of the wildest, nastiest, angriest machines in the racing world, and you get to see the best pilots behind the wheel when we come back with more from Knoxville.
Fuel your passion. 24/7 Speed.
Next week on Wind Tunnel, ALMS car owner Dave Mirage, NASCAR star Dave Blaney, the guy who first put Jeff Gordon in a race car. That would be John Bickford, and Sam Posey, the racer turned journalist. We start Monday night at 10 Eastern.
Welcome back to Knoxville, the 44th running of the Midwest Ford Dealers Knoxville Nationals. Steve Kinzer has won this event 12 times, and this week, Steve, it's not been the week you've wanted. You've got to kind of get your elbows up tonight.
Yeah, we've got ourselves in a pretty deep hole, but well, we'll just go out and do what we can do, I guess.
You've won a lot of races here. You're third on the all-time win list at Knoxville. Can you win it from where you got to start tonight in the C?
No, I don't think so, but like I said, we'll just do the best we can.
Good luck tonight, and everybody's going to keep their eyes on the king, I'm sure.
Okay, well, let's, you know, you can hope for the best, but with this tougher field, it's going to be pretty tough. You can't win these things on a preliminary night, but you sure can lose them.
Let's hear it for Steve Kinzer. Let's go back upstairs.
Well, walking the racetrack is a man who is hoping to do something that nobody's ever done before in history here, to become the first native of Iowa to win the Knoxville Nationals, and he stands the best chance out of anybody. Let's take you back now to Thursday's highlights as Terry McCarl continues to walk the racetrack. They began with Paul McMahon being the fast qualifier, but that was the highlight of Paul McMahon's night. Watch as we get this race started, Brad, down towards turn number 3. Everything goes wrong for the driver of the 11, Paul McMahon, on the outside of the racetrack at the back end of the right side of your screen. There he goes. Now, I will tell you, Paul was taken to the hospital in Des Moines. He has a broken tailbone, a fractured heel as you get another look at it, and some stitches in his elbow. He was released from the hospital today and was hoping to come back tonight to watch the races.
As you can see, a car got a little bit sideways in front of him. He went over his right rear and just had to hang on.
Heat 3, Daniel Lasowski nips Blake Feast coming off the corner to win that one. Here's Terry McCarl in the black 24, getting around John Vandenberg for the win in Heat 5. And off to the A main where Vandenberg and Jason Myers were on the front row, and they had a good battle coming off of 2, but look at the black car back to the right. Here comes McCarl.
They go in, slide up the top, leave the bottom wide open. Watch the bottom of the screen here.
Terry comes through and takes the lead while Tim St. Arnold crashes back in turn number 4. Now here we go on to the A main, and Jason Myers leads, but watch Daniel Lasowski on the bottom. Here he comes, and the JD Bide rider number 20 to take the lead. But they would swap that lead back and forth.
Again, the bottom was real fast off of 4. Jason goes in, puts the slider on him up in turn 2. Lasowski turns the car, gets back to the inside.
When they were all done, it was the dude, Daniel Lasowski, standing in victory lane. A place he has been 83 times here at Knoxville. Here's a look at the points now. After Thursday night, Lasowski was the top points guy. McCarl, Kenny Jacobs, and then 3 tied in 4th. Let's go downstairs now. Dave Argerbright.
You know, last year Kenny Jacobs finished 3rd here, and you told us, gee, I'm not going to get many more chances at this, and then you come back and put her on the front row. How about tonight? What's it looking like?
We have an awesome race car. This car's ready to go. I have a great team, and Moon Byers and Dave Yingston, car owners Jim and Sandy Klein, and have a heck of a team back there, and they're definitely ready to go.
You know, we keep hearing your name associated with that phrase, sentimental favorite. I think everybody, including Kenny Jacobs, would like to see you win this thing.
Well, I hope I can bring that dream come through. I mean, it's a dream of every driver to win this race sometime. It's been a dream of mine for a lot of years, and I'm in position right now, and I don't have a lot of years left to get in this position, so hopefully this will be it.
Well, you got that in-car camera. Give us a show. Let's go to Tony Bachhoven.
Well, Jesse Hockett didn't enjoy his first Knoxville Nationals because he crashed in the B, but your second one's turned out much better. Tonight, you're in the A-main event.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it seems like just a couple years ago I was sitting up there in Section K cheering on everybody else, and I was always the first kid trying to get down here in the pits after the races, and now I'm down here at the start. We'll be on the 3rd row of the A-main. I can't believe it.
Are you nervous about starting that far up front?
I'm not really nervous about that. I mean, the crew's been working hard, and the car's running good. It's all up to me now.
Let's go back upstairs.
The E feature has been pushed off and is getting ready to go. Let's take you quickly through the lineup. Kim Mock, Bill Rose in row 1. Row 2, Cody Branchcombe and Bobby Minzer. Mark Taves and Eric Vanderplug in row 3. Matt Blossmund and Gerald Slinkert will make up row 4. Rager Phillips and Jared Hall in the 12H in row 5. Row 6 is Roger Rager and Larry Pinniger in the 2nd. Row 7, Mike Moore and John Lamberts. Row 8 is Wayne Modeski and Danny Wood, the former Rookie of the Year for the Outlaws. In row 9, Matt Morrow and Jeff Johnson. Row 10, John Cernett and Chad Hill. That's our lineup for the E feature. Let's show you the race analysis. As you look at Roger Rager getting ready, it'll be 10 laps. And we're showing 2 transferring to the rear of the D. We've got a car stopped on the front straightaway. Rager Phillips having trouble on the front stretch, and see if we can find out what the problem is with the 9.
Yeah, no matter what it is, if he can restart, he will have to go to the tail for stopping on the racetrack. See if he can restart. It looks like, no, that car's not trying to refire. Yeah, as you can see, they're just rolling around slowly, so whether they push him back to the work area or back to his trailer, we'll just have to wait and see.
And there's Roger Rager.
Talked about him earlier, a lot of laps, a lot of race laps for that guy.
Donahue Harley Davidson, back number 6. Now, we've been told that there have been 3 cars that have scratched out of the D, which is the next race. So instead of just taking 2 cars from this, they're going to actually take the top 5. Donahue Harley-Davidson up in Minnesota, and that's, of course, where Roger Rager is from. And here we come to the green. Everybody gets through turn 1, through 2, and down the backstretch.
When everybody trying to be a little careful. Again, we talked about the track being a little bit greasy, so they're going to have to be careful these first few laps.
Kim Mock leads it with Bill Rose behind him. There's Rager trying to make his way up through the field in the black 6, and he slips a little bit. He had the 12H of Jared Hall right there in the black and white car. Oh, and Rager with problems for the 15. Bobby Mitzer. And there's Mock coming across the start-finish line to put another one in the books. Remember, 5 cars will transfer out of this one. Mock in that 1M looking very solid at this point to get to the back of the D.
Well, he started up front, just trying to hold it, and that's what he's got to do. But there's some guys in the back that have moved up. Matt Morrow in the 47 car started almost second row, and he's up to 4th spot. There's Bill Rose. The track's starting to get a little nicer right now, a little wider on the racetrack.
Halfway through on this one, as you watch Bill Rose currently running in second place in that red and white number 6 from Plainfield, Indiana. There's the 94 car. That's the machine running back in 3rd. That's Cody Branchcombe. Moving back through the field a little bit farther back as we try to show you everybody that stands a chance of transferring, and one up along the wall in turn number 1 as 2 cars got together along the front straightaway. That's the 4 car of Wassman. Matt Wassman. Oh, and there's 3 more cars involved, including Rager in the 6, the 44 car, which is Hill, and Jefferson in the 11 car. Jeff Johnson, I should say. Jeff Johnson in the 11J, and Chad Hill in the 44. And there is the 4W of Matt Wassman. Let's see if we can figure out what happened here, Brad.
Okay, that's the 4 car inside. That's Rager there?
That's Wassman on the inside. He and Rager got together.
Like Wassman was coming up a little bit. He actually is pretty lucky right there. When you run over another guy's front tire at these speeds, usually you're upside down. Very lucky for him not to have a nasty flip there. But again, it piled everybody up. Rager got sideways in the racetrack and saw some cars running into him.
So fortunately, the only thing tore up this time, just some race car parts. So it looks like Roger Rager's night at the Nationals is done. Something tells me he'll be back. So will we. Stay with us.
Get a fast Intel Pentium 4 processor, a big 17-inch monitor, extra memory, and gold medal service and support. A complete system for just $499.99. Call 1-800-GATEWAY now.
Sunday on Speed. First, F1, the Hungarian Grand Prix live. Then, Grand Am Cup from Mid-Ohio. Later, Speed World Challenge hits the road in Mosport with touring cars and GTs. That's all Sunday on Speed.
Hey, Greg White here on the next Two-Wheel Tuesday, educating troubled teens using motorcycle engines and the 411 on motocross riding gear technology. That's Two-Wheel Tuesday, 8 Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on Speed.
What's up with the thing? And we left it on. Really? Yeah, it's been running all day. Okay. Maybe we should do something. That's so not cool.
Don't just take a stand. Act. The most powerful way is to simply register and vote.
Hey, I'm filming here. TNT NASCAR 2004. New rules, new drama. It's the race to the chase. 43 men enter. Only a handful go for the cup. You do the math. 10 races. One big trophy. and one big chick.
What happens if you're number 11?
Do I really got to answer that?
The race to the chase is on TNT.
The race to the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup continues from Watkins Glen, August 15th on TNT.
NASCAR is drama.
Tomorrow morning on Speed Channel, join us for the Formula One Hungarian Grand Prix. Find out if Michael Schumacher can keep up his near-perfect season. That's live tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The Hungarian Grand Prix exclusively on Speed. Also exclusively on Speed, the Knoxville Raceway. Not just the Nationals, but we're going to be bringing you the 360 Nationals. We tried to do that earlier this year, had some rain, and we're going to be back here later in the year for a big dirt late model race. It's going to be awesome. Now here's the E feature as it stands right now. These are the 5 cars that stand a chance of transferring straight on to the D feature. We've only got 4 laps to go. If you're Bobby Mintzer sitting back there in 5th, how nervous are you right now, Brad, as we go back to green?
You got to try to hang on to it, but as we said earlier, the real mover was Matt Moore, the 47 car who came from 17th, as you saw there, up to 4th.
You saw the orange cone on the front straightaway in a single file restart. You can't pass until you're past that orange cone. That's why they went the way they did. They didn't like the start, did Doug Clark, our official starter. There's Doug, no E Clark, and his son Justin back there. Now Justin's in his 20s, Doug's in his 50s. We'll give him a break. He's a good friend of all of ours here. And one of the more popular starters you'll find anywhere in racing.
Popular and feared, as you see there. He had the black flag in hand, shaking it at someone. He's not afraid to use that black flag. That black flag means you're disqualified if he waves that at you. There he just shook it at somebody, so that'll get your attention as a driver.
And we've seen him send some of the biggest names in the business to the back.
Mark Kinzer started on the front row one year, had to go to the tail. I mean, he doesn't care who you are. If you don't abide by the rules, you'll go to the back. And part of those rules is not going until you come out of this turn 4 there to yellow orange cone.
E feature, top 5 cars transferring on to the D. Back at it again. Down the back straightaway, Mock still out in front. Branscombe in the 94.
And Morrow on the outside, oh, he gets real high right there. He had a run on him down back straight out of turn 2, but got real wide in 3 there.
That's Morrow in the 47. The Sonner family car, Gil Sonner owning that car for years, Brad, and his son involved in that team as well.
Yeah, a lot of drivers, a lot of good drivers through that team throughout the years, and they've been real successful. Matt Morrow been in that car now for quite a while.
Here's the battle for the transfer spot. That's Bobby Mintzer and Jared Hall. Jared Hall in the 12 car, the 12H. That's the black car, and the 15 machine is Mintzer.
And Jared Hall started 10th. Can he get this pass and get a transfer? Boy, lost a little ground right there, Ralph.
Again, Mintzer in the 15 holding on to the final transfer. Here comes Mock to the checkered flag. He's your winner. Bill Rose will take 2nd. And behind them comes Branscombe. So Cody Branscombe will take 3rd. And it looks like the 15X of Bobby Mintzer will move on to the D feature. And Jared Hall will be 1 spot short of going on through tonight's program. Well, one driver who's already secured a spot a little bit farther up in the program is Jason Myers. He's in the A feature. He's with Dave Martin.
Jason Myers, you got a great starting spot, starting 6th. You've won at this racetrack before. How much does that help your confidence?
Well, I mean, it helps just as much as anything can help you, really. And what probably helps me the most this weekend is having a great team behind me with Steve Swinson, Bob Curtis, and Troy Myers helping us tonight. Just got a great team and a great car. And I won my first World of Outlaw race here at Knoxville about 3 years ago. So tonight, winning the Knoxville Nationals will just be a dream come true for me. And the Elite Racing team this year being a brand new team, we're starting 5th, and I think we got a great shot at it. Just a great car, a great team, and it's going to be up to me and the decisions we make tonight.
You know, you're a guy with some career ambitions in sprint car racing and perhaps beyond. What does it mean to a young driver's career to win the Knoxville Nationals?
It's, boy, there's nothing else comparable. It's the best thing I think you could probably do, next to probably winning a World of Outlaw championship, and that's something we're also trying to contend for this year. Had great luck with that so far, and we're going out there to do one thing and one thing only tonight, and that's to try to win this race. And
hopefully maybe the crowd will go wild when somebody else besides Danny or Steve wins the race tonight. Hopefully we can be that person.
He's the guy going to try to make the crowd go wild here at Knoxville, Jason Myers.
The young man out of Clovis, California could certainly get this crowd standing up and cheering. He definitely stands a chance. Come back to the Marion County Fairgrounds with us. We'll have more racing with the D feature coming up.
Sound matters. The Catback Dual System Exhaust. Now available at Meineke for only $350. Meineke, right service, right price.
Fast drivers in fast cars driving on the best tracks in America all understand racing is a contact sport. That's why the SCCA Speed World Challenge has made Toyo tires their tire of choice. Toyo tires provide you with the ultimate grip so that the only thing out of control will be your adrenaline. Because at Toyo Tires, we are driven to perform.
Sunday on Speed World Challenge. A chance to shine and the track to put it all on the line. Ron Fellows will race for Team Cadillac at his Canadian home track. Speed World Challenge. Mosport, Sunday 1 Eastern, only on Speed.
Initially, when I talked to my recruiter, it was a no-go, simply because of my weight. I've always been a big guy. I started taking Stacker 2, eating right, lifting, cardio, running. Within 8 months, I was able to enlist in the military. And
he's an all-around happier person, plays with the children, and has more energy to interact with them.
it definitely helped me fulfill my goals of what I wanted to do.
Real people, real stories, real results.
Speed Tuesday. From Missouri to Pennsylvania, it's 3 days of awesome parties, fast races, and hot cars. Get into the Nopi lifestyle. All new Nopi Tuner Vision, Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific, only on Speed.
You know, there's 125,000 bucks up for grabs, but what everybody really wants is that big, tall trophy in the middle back there. That's the one you get for winning the A feature here tonight. These 5 drivers have just gotten a step closer. They will all transfer out of the E feature and move on to the tail section of the D. So congratulations, you've won. Bad news, Brad Doty, your night just got tougher. You're at the back end of an even tougher lineup of cars.
Every stage they go up through, it gets tougher and tougher, and the cars get faster and faster.
There's Terry McCarl in the black driver's suit, standing there talking to a couple of other drivers. That's Randy Hannigan in the red. Kerry Madsen in the white with the purple trim. And of course, McCarl is going to be starting on the pole tonight. Calm, cool, and collected, ready to go. Tony Bacco.
Well, the 2003 Nationals were not much fun for Kim Mock as he flipped down the front straightaway, but your 2004 Nationals are starting off much better. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much. Knoxville is a great place to be. It kind of took all my heart and soul away from me when I crashed down here last year. And it took me till now to finally get a win, and what a more beautiful place and a feeling I have in my heart right now.
It's been a long recovery this summer, but it looks like you're doing it pretty well.
Yes, I am, and I got to thank my car owner, Dean Osborne, and his family for standing behind me when I wasn't doing very well this year, but just in the last month, we've been able to put it together and get a little bit more speed.
The two-time IRA champion is on his way into the D-Main. Let's go to Dave Argabright.
Greg Kinzer, you've done a good job working in a big shadow. You've done a good job trying to follow your dad, Steve Kinzer. What about here at Knoxville? Everybody talks about Steve Kinzer. Can you just shrug that off and just be Greg Kinzer?
Well, you almost got to be. I got to do that to really run my race. Try not to worry about how he's doing, and I hope he gets up there and gets up in the A, which it's going to be exciting. I know that for sure, but I got to try and get focused on the A main, and we're starting at the back, unfortunately, so we got a long ways to go for us.
Now, you're in the A main, and Dad isn't. Did you offer the old man any advice about how to get in?
I didn't want to do that. I don't think he was happy this weekend, so I didn't want to make him any madder, but he's calmed down, and he's getting ready to race here, so best to him and Scott and all them. They got a long way to go, and I think they can get there.
You're a young guy doing very well in sprint car racing. Is this where you want to stay? Do you have some aspirations for anywhere else?
Oh, I love the dirt. I love the fans here, and I love it all around dirt track racing. They're the best fans anywhere. You can go up, and I grew up in the stands at dirt tracks, so I love it. So I'm going to try and stay here as long as I can.
He loves dirt track racing. So do we. Let's go back upstairs.
And we love seeing Craig Kinzer. And Brad, it's only a matter of time before he gets that first World of Outlaw win.
He has been so close and had a few just slip away late in the race, but he really handles all this pressure very well.
You heard him mention Scott. That's Scott Gherkin. That's the man that's turning the wrenches on his dad's car. Here's some of the other crews getting ready. Kim Box crew getting him ready for the D feature coming on. You'll see it here on Speed.
This bolt is 4.5 inches long, made from hardened alloy steel. 6 of them connect the cargo box of the Ford F-150 to its frame. Why do we do this when others don't? Because we're building the strongest pickup. You can be sure of that. We are. Only one truck earned the right to be the next Ford F-150.
All new Speed Monday. First, get that parking ticket thrown out.
Thousands and thousands of people got off their parking fines last year.
I've had 8 tickets and I've managed to get off every single one of them.
Justice will be done.
Then, get the lowdown on roadside speed cameras.
Do not panic.
They've got the tips that keep you in the fast lane.
Oh my goodness.
Convinced yet? Well, you should be.
All new back-to-back episodes of Fifth Gear, Monday, 9 Eastern, 10 Pacific, only on Speed.
In August, Fox Movie Channel salutes the cinema of international stars.
French, the Italian, the English.
I'm good.
I can't leave my place.
World customs.
What is it, some sort of Brazilian beatnik?
World culture.
They're in love.
The number of women that have fallen for that lie.
It is truth.
Fox Movie Channel style.
I'm black and I'm proud. A man needs a little madness.
International Month. This August, only on Fox Movie Channel.
Oh, we'll get the silver for you. You'll see.
Speed Tuesday. From Missouri to Pennsylvania, it's 3 days of awesome parties, fast races, and hot cars. Get into the Nopi lifestyle. All new Nopi Tuner Vision, Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific, only on Speed.
Next week on Wind Tunnel, ALMS car owner Dave Mirage, NASCAR star Dave Blaney, the guy who first put Jeff Gordon in a race car. That would be John Bickford, and Sam Posey, the racer turned journalist. We start Monday night at 10 Eastern.
Well, welcome back to the Knoxville Nationals. Bill Rose, 1 week ago, Jeff Shepard won in your car. Tonight, you're working your way up through the alphabet soup.
Yeah, we got a long way to go. I mean, this is a heck of a field of cars, and it's the first year we've ever been in the Knoxville Nationals, and we had some bad luck qualifying, and this is what comes about when you have bad luck qualifying.
Now, I see you're busy here working at the toolbox. What are you doing to get ready for the next race?
Well, right now the motor is just a little bit lean on the top end, so we're trying to reset to high speed and stuff so we get a little bit more fuel so we can get some more RPMs and stuff going with the motor.
Does that have anything to do with the air tonight?
Air's a little bit good. Air's pretty good, so I mean, we got to definitely put some more fuel to it when air's like this.
Good luck. We'll let you get back to the toolbox.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Brad, one of the things he talked about was the air. It's unbelievably cool here this week.
When you have cool air like this, low humidity, these engines, just like a person, they breathe better. When they get more air pushed into that engine, you got to add more fuel or you'll burn pistons.
I don't know. I wasn't breathing all that good trying to climb all those stairs, sucking some gas. We are at the Knoxville Nationals. This is the Marion County Fairgrounds. Knoxville Raceway sits on the Marion County Fairgrounds, and you're going to see these feature races here tonight in our 4 hours of live coverage. We've already run the E feature, so we clicked that one off. We're getting ready for the D, and then it's on to the C, the B, and then finally tonight, the A feature. That's where the big trophy and the big check will be handed out. The cars that you see rolling around the racetrack, including Steve Kinzer's famed number 11, are the cars that are getting set for the C feature hot laps. And basically what this is, Brad, every hot lap session is just a quick warm-up for the cars that'll be racing shortly. Gives them an opportunity to get out, get their car and themselves warmed up. They come back in, we usually run a race, and then their race comes up after that.
Absolutely, they're gonna hot lap these cars, then they'll run the D, and while they're running the D, that's when Scott Gherkin, the crew chief, and Steve Kinders, and all these guys will fine tune and get those cars ready, and then they'll be next out.
And boy, you can see Steve Kinzer struggling here tonight, but boy, he's had success at this famed racetrack in the past. 12 times he's taken home that big, big trophy.
Unbelievable that he's this far back in the C main. As you can see, a lot of heavy hitters there. A lot of Nationals championships there.
Sammy Swindell, there's a guy that like to get one.
Yeah, he's got one in all of his years of coming here, you know, and that was a long time ago. He's definitely definitely on the hunt, and it's something that he desperately wants is another Nationals win.
Amazing to believe that both Steve Kinzer and Sammy Swindell in tonight's C feature. Now, let's see how these guys hot laps, because these two veterans will be looking for things that maybe a young guy won't be.
Yeah, they've been around at all these racetracks for so many years. And again, you see Sammy right in the middle of the racetrack. Racetrack, the bottom's still a little bit greasy, a little slippery, and so is the top. So you got to be careful here. Now you get in traffic. That's not really what you, yeah, right there. See, a little greasy down on the bottom. He's got to be careful. And you see, kind of let the 40 car go around. But this tells him what the car's going to do in traffic, the air over the wings, that kind of thing. But a lot of it's just tuning the engine, making sure that they'll go back and do a spark plug reading. You heard Bill Rose talk about burning the engines down. So that's as much, and there's Steve Kinzer with the engine problems he's had. We talked about they're going to make sure that they go over that engine when he gets back to the pits.
That was Clint Garner in that 40 car that Sammy was dealing with. And I got to tell you, Brad, I don't think that was a very successful hot lap session for Sammy. He never really got a clean section of racetrack to run, to move up top or move down low and see what it's going to do.
That's the key. A lot of the guys will lay back. They want to get out and get a good, at least a full lap, try to be by themselves to see what that race car will do. There's a lot of race cars on the track right now, so you even saw Steve Kinzer there in traffic.
Winning hot laps pays zip. Winning the D feature pays pretty good. That's up next when we come back to Knoxville.
Fast drivers in fast cars driving on the best tracks in America all understand racing is a contact sport. That's why the SCCA Speed World Challenge has made Toyo tires their tire of choice. Toyo tires provide you with the ultimate grip so that the only thing out of control will be your adrenaline. Because at Toyo Tires, we are driven to perform.
Sunday on Speed World Challenge. A chance to shine and the track to put it all on the line. Ron Fellows will race for Team Cadillac at his Canadian home track. Speed World Challenge. Most mornings, Sunday 1 Eastern, only on Speed.
How do you keep a car from ending up like this? Try Armor. Armor All Protectant. It does more than clean and shine. It protects.
Some people rodeo for sport, but I do it to relax. To do what I do to relax, you got to stay in shape. That's the reason why I rely on Stacker 2 products for the last 4 years. Stacker 2 ephedra-free helps me burn fat, control my hunger, boost my energy.
Stacker 2 ephedra-free helps burn fat, control cravings, and boost your energy. Trust a product that works hard to get you results.
I wouldn't rely on anything else. Open the gate!
My first car was a VW Bug, 1972, pearl white, tinted windows, could go about 25 miles before it broke down, but once you get it back together, it'll give you another 32.
Tomorrow at noon Eastern, join us for Grand Am Cup action from the very tough Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Grand Am Cup from Mid-Ohio tomorrow at noon Eastern, only on Speed. Tonight, however, it's all about great wing sprint car racing action, and we are at the best place to do that anywhere in this planet, the famed Knoxville Raceway. It's a big half mile with some amazing brown clay on it, and Dave Argerbright, it is fast.
It sure is fast, Ralph. And you know, Mustang, Oklahoma is 600 miles from Knoxville, Iowa. Last year, Wayne Johnson made that round trip every weekend to compete here, buddy. This year, you've relocated here to Knoxville just for the summer. How much does it help you tonight that you've ran this racetrack every weekend this year?
Well, a lot, really. You know, we come here week in and week out for 2 years now, you know. You can't never quit learning, I promise you. The racetrack's been a little better here through the Nationals than it's been all year, but my guys been really working really hard, and I tell you what, we got that Fat Fro car going pretty good.
You know, you've been 2 years here. You've been in the A-Main early on, locked in on your qualifying night. How much of a relief is that?
Well, you know, to come out here on Friday night and just watch the races is pretty awesome. I mean, I'd rather be in those scrambles, but to come just hang out and really not have to do a whole lot of work and worry about tearing up a car, to come back here on Saturday night and just kind of relax and get ready to run the races makes a lot of difference. For me, it does anyway. I just want to, you know, relax on Friday night, come out and watch the races and watch everybody else.
I didn't know there was such a word as relax at the Knoxville Nationals. Tony Bachhoven.
Well, last night, Travis Cram picked up a win here at the Knoxville Raceway, and tonight, Travis, bring a little momentum into your C main tonight. You've got a little ways to go. Can you do it?
I don't know. Right now, the track's pretty narrow, but last night definitely helped our confidence out. We struggled a little bit in our prelim night, and as a result, we had to run the non-qualifiers night. We made the most of it, picking up the win. 11th's pretty deep considering the cars that are in the C main with us, but I guess that's testimony to just how tough the Nationals are. We got a good team, good car. I think we'll try to make the most of it.
You race at Knoxville on a weekly basis. Does that help you when you have to start so far back?
You know, it does a little bit, but I mean, when you look at the caliber of the cars that are here, you know, just about, I mean, yeah, some of the experience here at Knoxville helps out, but there's some tough cars in there that have just as much experience here.
Get your elbows up.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
Ralph?
All right, Tony, thanks.
You know, all these guys that run here weekly, Cappy and these guys kind of threw a curveball at them. They hauled in a lot of new dirt this year. They tried it, it didn't work. They actually come in and ground it all back out, and this track is right back to where it was designed back in 1953, the same dirt. They reground it, reworked it. It is a great racetrack so far this week.
And the same family has been prepping this track since day one.
Yeah, Dick Duncan started it years ago. Now his 3 sons taking it over and working it. And again, they put it right back to the specs of 1953, all the flaws and all, if there were any. And they've got a great racetrack. But again, they hauled in probably 45 dump truck loads of dirt, and they took it all back off and started from scratch.
And it is really something, because this black clay is unlike any dirt we find anywhere else. What is it about it that it makes such a good racetrack?
Well, it's usually the black dirt's what they call gumbo, and usually when it's wet, it's sticky and it's bitey. That gives you the best traction. But then at times when it dries out, it gets like a glazed over slick, and it gets shiny, and the cars slide all over the place. And in my opinion, that's usually the best racing.
Of course, and if you don't want to use it for a racetrack, it's pretty good for growing corn too around here.
Absolutely.
All right, there's Doug Clark getting it warmed up. That means we're ready for the D feature lineup. So let's show you that now as we get set for our next race here tonight. On the front row, the youngster Cameron Dodson and another youngster, Travis Ryland, alongside of him. Back to row number 2, Mike Kircher in the 80K and Troy Little in the 28U on the outside of that row. Row 3 will have Mike Reinke in the 02 and Chris Walraven in the 56 on the outside. Row 4, John Agan in the 4J and the 24H of Josh Higday. Ryan Anderson in the 71R and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 40R. Peter Attard in the 17H and Kevin Fry in the 2K. Clinton Jeffrey had a bit of a tough time here last year at the Nationals. Colin Northway will be alongside him. Curtis Boyer and Zach Chappell make up row 8. Marty Paravich and Brian Carlson rounding out row 9. Jamie Moyle, who spends a lot of time running laps here to the weekly series, and Mike Lutz in the Chiapelli racing car. Kim Mock in the 1M, Phil Rose in the 11, or the 6B in row 11. Cody Branchcombe and Matt Morrow, 2 more of the cars that transferred out of the E. And finally tonight, Bobby Meintzer making the show in the D feature here tonight. Now, we did have 3 scratches out of this one. Attard, Northway, and Paravich, we're told now, will not make the call. 3 cars will come out of this to the back of the C, because we will find out later 1 car has scratched out of the C. We originally thought 2 would transfer, now 3, Brad.
Well, absolutely. With the guy that runs 3rd is absolutely going to be happy that somebody scratched to move him into this field. Again, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. there. Talked about early, Tony Wilson, one of the crew members on this car, crew chief, was a crew member of my car back in 1985 when we ran so well here, and it's great to see them running well. Let's see if they can transfer up through.
Getting ready to go green with the D feature. 12 laps, 3 cars moving on. Looks like we're going to go around again. And Brad, as we take a look at the cars rolling around the racetrack, we've got young Cameron Dodson in that 37, just 16 years of age. It's such a big racetrack, so fast, and the competition's so tough. Is that almost too much for a 16-year-old?
It depends on the experience, obviously. How much racing has he done as a kid? Has he moved up through the ranks and that kind of thing? How long has he been in a sprint car? makes a huge difference. But, you know, the only way to get experience is to race. We just have to see what he can do here, keep the car straight, and try to transfer on.
Mike Lutz and the Chiapelli family racing machine. They've just made the trip here for the first time to the Knoxville Nationals. He's a former ESS champion, and he has just gotten into this car for the first time this season. He won the Empire Super Sprint title back in 2003, now driving for Tom and Fran Chiapelli. In fact, he was the last driver to win for legendary car owner Bob Weichert. And of course, Tom and Fran Chiapelli, the brother and sister-in-law of Jim Chiapelli, our producer back at Speed News. So I'm sure he's cheering them on. Down to Tony Bakov. There's Chad Kemena sitting in the car, Brad, warming it up.
Boy, look at that intense look on his face. Just sitting there. When you're in that race car like that, actually, even without the helmet, you can kind of tune out the whole world and just focus on what you're doing. He's looking at the gauges, studying things, just trying to keep to himself.
And Brad, you can look at this car, very minimalistic in what there is to the car as you see the pipes seething out the smoke right now.
What that is they spray these cars down. We saw all this mud all over these race cars. They use a mud off or similar lubrication to keep the mud from sticking. They spray all these cars, and that's just burning off the headers right there.
Very thin body work, not much inside the cockpit for the drivers to mess with. The seats not very padded up, trying to save as much of that weight for that 1,375 pounds that you can get.
Well, that and the feel of the feel that's from the seat. They don't run a lot of cushion, so they can feel that race car under them.
You're looking at the lineup for the D feature here tonight. It's Saturday night at Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa, the 44th annual Knoxville Nationals presented by the Midwest Ford dealers, getting set to go racing. I'm Ralph Shaheen along with Brad Doty, Dave Argerbright, and Tony Bachhoven. We're glad to have you with us for our live coverage of the biggest sprint car race on the planet here on Speed Channel. Getting set to go green with the D feature. Cameron Dodson leads him out of turn number 2. Everybody gets through 2 and down the backstretch. Whoa, one flipping down the backstretch, 2 cars together. It's a big wreck down the back straightaway. Oh, that was a vicious one. Is that Kim Mock's number 1?
That was Kim Mock.
The orange car, not sure. There's Mike Lutz's car. He was involved in the 98.
We saw in the start of the race, the yellow car, I believe it was the 72, got looser going into turn 1. It looked like maybe a tire down or something. You can see Mike trying to get a record, pick him up. There's something broke on the suspension, that right rear. You can see the car sitting down there. He wants to get back to the work area as quickly as possible to try to get that car fixed. You can see again, something was broke. And he knows if they can get back to the work area, possibly he can get back out.
Now, Doug Clark has the red flag out. When there's a flip of that nature, if you're new to sprint car racing, the racetrack goes red immediately, so the emergency crews can attend to the drivers, which they are doing right now. And we are trying to confirm for you 100% before we take any guesses as to what the name and number is of the other car that was involved. It is the 72X Curtis Boyer.
And that is the car going into turn 1. He had a problem getting into turn 1. He was high on the racetrack. I don't know whether a tire was going down or suspension part broke. He was in trouble going into 1, coming out of 2. Got real sideways. We heard the interview with Kim Mock, the bad crash he had here last year. He just transferred out of the last race. Moving forward, you see the 94 also sitting backwards on the racetrack.
That's Branchcombe, Cody Branchcombe, who transferred out of the E. Now Kim Mock has gotten out of his 1 car. There you see the top wing off of his car, and he was able to walk to the ambulance. So good news there. Kim Mock, of course, Brad, involved in a big wreck here last year as well. There's Kim actually in the back of the 4-wheel.
Yeah, we just had that interview with him, and he said they were struggling early the last month. It looked like things were coming around. You know, we saw him win the E feature, and boy, it went from good to bad in a hurry.
And that big wing that you see there, one of the things about winged sprint car racing is that big piece of aluminum works like a pillow on the first few impacts and actually absorbs a lot of the impact.
And it also works as a parachute. When the car is flipping through the air, it's a lot of drag to slow the car down, slow the gyrations down when they're flipping. And as you said, when the car lands on that, it absorbs a lot of that shock and cushions the car and actually helps to keep from springboarding the car back up into the air.
There's the 15 car, the 15X of Bobby Meinzer, who transferred out of the E feature, pushing his car around. Well, while they work to clean things up here at the Knoxville Raceway, we'll take care of some more business so that we can get you back to the green flag racing as soon as they're ready to go from the Nationals. We're back to the 44th annual Knoxville Nationals from Knoxville, Iowa at the Marion County Fairgrounds. While they continue to clean things up in the turn 3 area and the incident that took place at the very beginning of the D feature, we have not completed a lap of that event yet. Drivers are out still looking at the racetrack. There is the famed driver here extraordinaire, if you will, at the Knoxville Raceway, Danny the Dude Lasowski. He has won the Knoxville Nationals 3 times. He has 83 career wins at this place, more than any driver, Brad. He knows that dirt probably better than just about anybody.
And 7 championships here in a lot of different race cars. And yeah, he does know his way around out there walking, looking at every inch of this racetrack to find out where he is going to run, what they need to do to that race car.
You can see they're still working in turn 3. Here are the cars that were involved in the incident. Bobby Meinzer, Ken Mock, Curtis Boyer, Cody Branchcombe, and Mike Lutz were the cars all involved, and we're still waiting for a report on Curtis Boyer for you. We've seen everybody else, including Kim Mock, walk away, and here comes Lutz's car back on the hook. Dave Argabright.
Well, just a few weeks ago, Ralph, actually most of this season, Jeff Shepard was on the sidelines without a ride, put something together for Knoxville, won a race last Saturday night up in Michigan, won a race in Oskaloosa Monday. Boy, looks to me like a layoff does you a lot of good, Jeffrey.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have been telling me. You know, I've been racing there for 2.5 months, and I got a call from Bob Kreiner and Barry Jackson. They put a car together to come out here to run the Nationals. And I hate to miss this week, and it's a big week of the year, and I'm just thankful to be here, and we're locked into the A main.
You were teasing us the other day. You said, hey, I win one, win another, win the Nationals. Hey, I'm going to retire right on the spot. You were just kidding us now, right?
Well, I'm not real sure about that. If I had the opportunity, we get the car right. I know we've got a good enough car. We get it right, we'll stand a good shot at that sucker just like everybody else. But I'd almost bet you if we were to win that thing tonight, I'd have to retire.
You know, you're going to go out in your hot lap session here in just a minute. What does that session tell you? Brad Doty talked about it helps settle the butterflies, but can you really learn much about the racetrack?
Yeah, I think so. You know, you get to get your car as close as you can get it, and hot lapping right before you go out is a definite advantage because you're going to fine-tune your race car. Like, we'll go out there with a complete feature setup on that thing so that it gets us as close to the feature setup as we can get to make it better. So I think it's definitely a good deal.
There's a lot of great storylines here at the Nationals this week. The Jet is one of the good ones. Let's go to Tony Bachhoven.
Well, like Jeff said, everybody likes to get out on the racetrack and find an advantage. And 3 guys that are out looking at it right now. Roger Crockett, you start 17th in the B tonight. What are you out here looking for?
We're just trying to see how much the track's going to slick up before we can get out there. We're going to hot lap next after this race. And, you know, the drier it gets, the more racy it's going to get. So hopefully it starts getting slicked off here, and we can try and go forward.
Where on the racetrack do you want to be?
Wherever the car ahead of me ain't.
Now, the guy next to you, he might have a little different philosophy. You're starting 19th in the A, but Randy Hannigan, you've been here a lot. What are you out here looking at the track?
Well, just like Roger said, you know, we're looking at the racetrack, see how far it's moving up, and see where the bottom's at. You know, there's a lot of moisture left in the racetrack right now, but it's still early in this race, and we got a few races before we get to the features. So you know, we're just going to keep out here, keep walking on the racetrack when the race car's on it, and, you know, just see how far it moves up.
Do you think it's going to get real close to the fence, or is it about as far as it's going to go?
Oh, I think it's going to move up a little bit more, but I don't think it's going to be next to the fence like what everybody thinks.
And the next guy standing out here is going to make his debut in the A main tonight here at the Nationals, John Vandenberg. I know you like to race around the bottom. What do you see out here tonight?
Well, the bottom's looking pretty good. You know, kind of hoping the top moves clear to the top, which right now it's not moving up that quick. But, you know, we're going to have a good time.
When you're out here looking at the racetrack, do you remember where the moisture is? Is that kind of what you're looking for, maybe picking out some spots on the track to remember?
Yeah, the bottom right now is a little slimy coming off, and the top, is a little sticky. Just look at bumps and grooves, and, just mainly come out here to see what's going to happen in the future and just kind of hang out and get some of the experienced drivers' advice.
You start 13th tonight. Any butterflies in the belly?
Oh, no, not yet. We're just, we're real excited to be here, and we're real proud to be a regular and be in the A-main of the Knoxville Nationals.
Good luck tonight, John.
Thank you.
That is what you call the cushion up towards the fence line here at Knoxville. The loose dirt that will get packed down and become even harder as we move through the night crowd, and those walls will be caked with that mud. And you can see the difference from here down to where it's packed up.
Yeah, and that's going to move higher and higher, and all this loose dirt you see there on the racetrack, that'll be thrown up there and move into more of a cushion, which is like a berm. I mean, it'll just build up there and get higher and higher and stickier and stickier. Later on, be laying the right rear tire right against that berm.
Well, we are still waiting for more words on Curtis Boyer, who is involved in the incident in turn 3. And as soon as we have that for you, we will pass that along to you. Stay with us. Speed Channel's exclusive coverage of the 44th annual Knoxville Nationals continues. One of the things you can do when you come here to Knoxville is go to the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum and see this, Brad Doty's first big sprint car.
The Bowers Coal car, I got Rookie of the Year with the World of Outlaws, 1982 in that car. Sam Bauer spent a lot of money on me back then to teach me how to race.
Yeah, a lot of us have spent money buying die-cast copies of it too. There's a great merchandise area here, and the old Gapco sprinters there, one that Byron Andretti won his first USAC sprint car event with back in 1964. Great helmet collection, one of Dave Blaney's uniforms. All kinds of great cars. There's one of Mark Kinzer's old machines that did so well here, and a pair of the noses that Carl developed. Some really neat replicas of what sprint car racing used to look like. All here and a part of the Knoxville Nationals. There's the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum just off the backside of turn 2 along Highway 14. And those are suites up above it where everybody is watching from. And during the night, you'll see them flicking the lights over there and having a big time. Well, some of the guys fall into the old school category, and they've turned a lot of laps here.
Sammy Swindell, Steve Kinzer with the most starts here. You can see it there, 31 and 28. Danny Smith, kind of surprised me. Jeff Swindell still up on that stats. Hasn't even been here for a few years to run the Nationals, so started pretty young there.
I'm sure he's watching. We need to yank him out of retirement, don't we?
Get him back racing or something.
Well, there's Jimmy Carr and the crew, those 4 guys standing down there in the blue shirts. That's Danny Lasowski's bunch. And that's his JD Byrider number 20 right behind it. They've had a tough year to begin with, but they've come on strong now, and the dude is certainly a contender here tonight.
We were struggling at the first part of the year, and Jimmy Carr, Todd Splain, all these guys never gave up, not on the race team nor on me. And then we had a tornado go through and just absolutely destroy our shop. But you know what? We left the next day and we did our job, and my dad and all the people from Septicon Company built the shop back up, and no one got hurt, so that's what we're here for.
Give me a quick synopsis of what happened there and how you guys got it all put back together.
Well, at 10 till 4 on 4th of July morning, we got woke up, it sounded like a freight train was coming through my bedroom. And I got up, and the shop is just a couple hundred yards away, and my alarms were going off in my shop. And I thought, oh my God, somebody's trying to steal my rig right before the Knoxville Nationals. So I, hard as I could go, down to my shop, slid into the back door. And I looked up and I said, they're trying to steal my rig. Well, lo and behold, there's no doors there. There's no doors, there's no ceiling, there's no nothing. I mean, I've seen top wings and trophies and pictures that I can never replace. Gone, sucked out, absolutely gone. Garage doors molded around my car, 4 sprint cars upside down. It's something that the folks out there can't realize until you see it. And here I am sitting there with nothing on but a pair of shorts and shoes. I'm thinking, what in the world just happened to this is my life, or this is my shop is my life. And I called Jimmy Carr up. He's the first one I called, and it rang one time, and he says, what's up? I said, you're awake? He said, yeah, something just woke me up. I said, you need to come out here and see this. And he and I put this shop together from scratch, and it was devastating. But thank God no one got hurt, and we'll race another day.
Well, I can tell you that Danny said that the nearby airport registered winds at over 105 miles an hour that ripped through his race shop that early morning back in July. Also want to pass along word that Curtis Boyer, the driver that was involved in that incident in the 72X, has been transported to the Knoxville Community Hospital. That's all we know at this time. If we receive any more information on Curtis's condition for the end of the program, we will certainly pass that along to you. Well, the D feature is now back out on the racetrack and lined up, or getting lined up behind Cameron Dotson and Travis Ryland on the front row. 3 cars will transfer out of this to the rear end of the C feature. It is scheduled for 12 laps. We have not completed a lap yet, so we will be starting from scratch with this one.
Just follow the initial start, so we go 12 laps, return.
Drivers now have to get themselves back into the right mindset to go racing, Brad. How do you do that?
You just, it's really not that difficult. You, when that green light's coming out, you just focus on what it is, and you've done it so many times, and it's really not that difficult.
Matt Morrow was very fast in the 47 car back in the E feature. He's got a ways to go. He's right back near the end of this D feature. Does he stand a chance of really working his way up through there?
Well, we'll have to see. He's going to need some caution flags and timing to get him toward the front. But we said earlier, the farther up you advance, the tougher the races get and the faster the cars get.
Well, he does get one break in the fact that they're taking 3 to the back of the C, so that's one less position he's got to worry about.
And you can bet that third place finisher, when this is all over, is really glad that somebody scratched to get them up into that third spot to, you know, transfer into the next race.
Of course, when you get to the C, you get to run into guys like Darren Pittman and Steve Kinzer and Danny Smith and Sammy Swindell. Boy, it just doesn't get easy at the Nationals, does it?
Not many C mains with that much talent in it.
Idling past the backstretch grandstands and getting set to go green, which should be coming probably the next time by. Cinching those belts down one more time. Track just coming in beautifully again tonight.
It really is, and some of these guys probably put some more tear-offs on the front of their shields because the track is wet and sticky right now, so they want to make sure that they have clear vision. They can pull those things off, and when they get mudded up.
There's the dude. He was just pushed off a minute ago. You saw that. That's to get the car fired up so he can bring it back and warm it up.
Yeah, warming all the fluids, water, the oil. Again, just checking Fleets the other night. They got here, and everything's brand new. You bring all your best to Knoxville. They fired the engine, and the water pump was leaking. A steady drip out of the water pump, so it was kind of a thrash for them to get the water pump changed on that race car.
Here's another driver we expect big things out of. He's finished second here 3 of the last 4 years at the Nationals. The only time he didn't finish in the top 2 was the night he crashed on the first lap of the A feature from the pole. So Donnie Schatz in the Parker Store 15, certainly going to be a contender here tonight in the A feature. Doug Clark with the 2 flags saying line them up side by side. We're ready to go green with the lights off on the pace truck. The start, such a key to this, Brad, when you've only got 12 laps.
Very, very important to get a good first couple laps. You know, that goes back to, a lot of guys say you cannot win the race on the first lap, but boy, at Knoxville, you got to get a good first lap, make something happen into turn 1.
16-year-old Cameron Dotson, that silver and red 37, will lead them to the green with Travis Ryland alongside. Mike Lutz has made the call. He is back out in the 98. We're ready to go green. Boy, they stack up, and there goes Morrow flipping through the air down the front stretch and landing nose first into the entrance at turn 1.
Boy, we just talked about him. We talked about, at the interview with Kim Mock, transferring up, goes out and gets upside down. We just talked about Matt Morrow, how fast he was. You see, this all started up and toward the front. It looked like a few cars jockeying around there, kind of shuffled things up and backed him up. He's a little shaken there, a little slow getting out.
Fortunately, he was able to climb out under his own power.
Cobwebs, I mean, you literally, it can knock you silly. If you hit your head, you're going to get to see it. Okay, there's the 47. But if you notice a couple cars up front here, car gets a little sideways there. A couple.
Egan in that red 4 got together with the 10, it looked like in here.
And the 71 car, but back here, yeah. Boy,
Wow,
that
look
was,
at how far that car flew.
and that's probably why you seen the car, but you saw the car hit on the back. When the car hits on the tail like that, your head goes into the back of the seat. Slam your head in the back of the seat, and it, okay, there's the cars that were shuffling around. Just looked like Rose might have moved to the bottom, thought maybe something's going to happen in front of him, moved down, and Morrow rode up over his left rear tire. Yeah, you can see it right there, over top. Boy, it tripped over the right rear.
Stuffing the nose into the ground is where the vicious part of the impact comes. Watch it in real-time speed. We said they're mean, nasty race cars, and that's one of the reasons. Matt Morrow walking away, fortunately, from a big one here at the Nationals.
In Nevada, all roads lead to adventure.
I'm Terry McCarl. With 27 professional victories in just 1 year's time, my crew and I know how to keep our cars running at their highest performance. So after every race, we turn to Fleet Buying Group's complete line of auto wash products to keep our cars clean. And with Auto Scrub, an ultra-concentrated cleaner, I can hammer down on grease, oil, and dirt on any automotive surface. Tires, wheels, engines, anywhere, inside or out. So don't get left in the dust. Go with the best. Fleet Buying Group.
Someone dies from melanoma every hour in the U.S. That's why you should cover up and wear a high SPF sunscreen whenever you work or play outdoors. You need it more than you think.
Sunday on Speed, Formula One, the Hungarian Grand Prix. Schumacher's 11th win tied the record. Now he wants an even dozen. The Hungarian Grand Prix, live Sunday, 7:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
Hey, Greg White here on the next Two Wheel Tuesday, educating troubled teens using motorcycle engines and the 411 on motocross riding gear technology. That's Two Wheel Tuesday, 8 Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on Speed.
Yeah, there's a little guy standing on the gas himself, probably making his parents run harder than any of the guys on the racetrack. Sporting his Jack Hodden Shield Wild Child t-shirt. He's probably trying to be one of those. I can tell you, every one of the guys on this crew started out just like that, a young guy at a dirt track. And another one of those guys that did that is Matt Morrow. Tony?
Well, Matt, first of all, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm a little banged up, but that sure was a hard ride, but I'm going to be okay.
Can you tell us what happened when you went down into turn one?
Oh, it's just, you know, the guys got to be aggressive out here. We're at the Knoxville Nationals, the biggest race of the year, and we're behind the 8 ball to start off with, and we got to charge on them starts while everybody's all bunched together, and, you know, I'm probably a little too aggressive out there. I've always been real hard on the starts, and, you know, that one definitely smarted it.
Go back and get rested up. Let's go to Dave Argabright.
Well, Danny Smith's one of the great stories in sprint car racing. You're having a pretty good year, Smitty. Boy, you've been here at Knoxville a lot of times.
Yeah, this is about our 28th trip, and it's always good to come back. This is the best of the best. And I got to thank Doug Williams Trucking, Alan Kiger, and Pence Oldsmobile, Pro Shocks, Hoosier Tires, Maxim, all of our product sponsors, J&D Performance, our engine builder, Foxco Shavers. I got a lot of people that helped me get here.
You know, you're in the C, but you said a minute ago that's like running the first A because it's just so tough.
Yeah, we're in the first A main. It's a tough one, and they only take 2, so we're going to have to get it going on the start and pick them off as quick as we can, because we know a lot of fast cars are coming, and there's a lot of fast ones in front of us.
Well, we're going to go back to racing. Danny Smith, boy, they love him here at Knoxville. Back upstairs.
That's a great way to put it, too, the first day main.
Yeah,
that's exactly right, yeah. Danny would know, too. All right, we're going to go green next time. That's what we're told. D main, still looking for our first lap to be completed. We've had 2 big red flag periods, and hopefully we're done with those.
Well, Matt Morrow kind of summed it up there. And again, what I said earlier, that you got to get that first lap, make it happen. Sometimes it bites you, as Matt said there. He gets a little aggressive on the starts, and that one might have bit him a little bit. But hey, it is the Knoxville Nationals.
That's it. Matt Morrow works as a car salesman back in Des Moines. Might be able to get a pretty good deal out of it then. idling by down the backstretch, and once again, Cameron Dotson on the pole. Travis Rylett on the front row with him. Will pace him to Doug Clark's green flag. Underway. Clean through 1 and 2. Leader Cameron Dotson comes off of 4, and the pack starts to settle down. Boy, he's opened a big gap as Rylett in the 29 tries to hold on to second place. The 20 AU of Troy Little trying to close in the 71B, having problems. Or 71R, I should say. That's Ryan Anderson. 71R, the white car, slow down the backstretch. We stay green for now. Hopefully he'll be able to get out of the racing way.
He's rolling around the top of 3 and 4. I don't know if he's got, with all the traffic going by, if he's going to be able to get down, Ralph.
He's slowing, Brad, and he's going to run out of steam and bring out a yellow.
Yeah, he just couldn't turn down all the traffic going by him. He wasn't able. He did the smart thing, rolled up there to a stop, brought the caution out.
Ryan Anderson comes to a stop.
Boy, Cameron Dotson getting away from him there. Just
what a tremendous start he has. Ryan Anderson from Charter Oak, Iowa. And his 71R looks like it's just about done for the night. And it looks like he slapped the wall.
Might have got in a little high there. Boy, real lucky not to get upside down. As you see, when that right rear hits, it pulls that front end around. When that right rear climbs the wall like that, a lot of times you're upside down. Something broke, something quite not right after that. So, again, he couldn't turn down, brought it to a stop. See the right front wheel definitely bent, the spindle bent or something. It's got a wobble to it.
Dave, this young Cameron Dotson is really impressive.
Well, Ralph, absolutely. Just a young kid from Greenfield, Indiana, and very excited about his future. He's doing a good job here at Knoxville. Obviously a rookie, and Brad Doty, you were right, man. That was just a great restart, and that's a really good sign for a young racer like that, emotionally and mentally, to be ready for a restart like he did. That's a good showing. Let's go to Tony Bachhoven.
Well, young Cameron Dotson already has 6 feature wins this year. Ralph and Brad, this is only his 2nd time on a half-mile racetrack, so he's doing pretty well so far.
Brad, we talk about how difficult it is to come to a big half mile when you're a youngster. Is it the speed that's tough, or what is it about it that makes it so tough as opposed to a quarter mile?
It is. It's the speed. I mean, you can sense the speed, and it quite frankly scares a lot of people, especially young driver. Yet it takes some time to get used to it. But probably more importantly is running the car straight, not scrubbing off speed. Anytime you see the driver shake the car, turn the car a little bit sideways, that's scrubbing off speed. So it's very important, especially when the track gets drier and slicker, to run that car as straight as you can.
Let's take a look at the guys that are already into tonight's A feature. Remember, we have 4 open slots that we're still trying to fill. Terry McCarl, high points guy, will start on the pole. Kenny Jacobs, Mouse, is going to start second. And then Kevin Lasowski and Jason Myers rounding out the top 5. And boy, look at those names all the way down. One of the surprises in the field, the Rocket, Jesse Hockett in 7th.
Yeah, 4th or 5th quick time on his qualifying night, run really well in his A main, and there he is in this A main for the Knoxville Nationals.
Brent Antilles had a tough season racing here in Iowa, back in 16th, but he's in the Nationals. Getting ready to go green. Cameron Dotson, a freshman in high school, told me earlier this week being a freshman was tougher than racing a sprint car.
You know, we talk about Cameron and the good job that he's done getting a good restart, but also tip of the hat to his crew, his engine tuner, everybody. When he stands on the gas, that engine doesn't stumble or stutter, and he's able to pull away from him in the last restart.
Travis Riley got a better start that time in that 29, running the bottom, the white car with the yellow rails on the frame. Hanging on the second, and Little runs in 3rd. To the outside goes Troy Little. The 20 AU dumps to the bottom. That could be the move. Slide job, got it.
Boy, surprised me. The bottom looks a little greasy yet. You can see that really dark dirt down there. But he hit it. He's stuck. I thought maybe the car would slide out. That race car is working really well right now, Rob.
Rylett's still good in 3rd, though. That's a transfer spot. But the leader, Cameron Dotson, pull it away, running the middle of the groove, Brad, coming off of 2, just touching the bottom portion of the cushion.
Kind of running kind of safe there. He's feeling comfortable. He doesn't want to take any chances running too high. Again, there's some moisture up there, a little greasy, maybe get in too high. Real easy to get in the walls. We saw those 71 car. The 02 there now with the run at
Ranky. That's Ranky, Mike Ranky in the 02. Ryland's got to get on the gas. He's going to lose the final transfer right there, coming off of 4. Mike Ranky comes up the outside. The driver from Howards Grove, Wisconsin, comes up alongside, and they're battling for the final transfer spot to move to the scene.
Yeah, Travis Rylett started on the front row and obviously going the wrong way. There's something wrong with that race car, whether lost a cylinder, just not working right, but definitely a problem to be getting backing up like this. You can see him the car doesn't look real comfortable. He's searching around on the racetrack.
Back up to the front, and our leader now, Cameron Dotson, coming up on lap traffic. That's Anderson. They've got going again, and we're under yellow. We got a car over in turn 2. 2 cars over there in turn 2. One of them is the 24H. That's Josh Higday right there. And the other car looks to be Zach Chappell.
This might be a break for Dotson. You saw him coming up on lap traffic right there, thinking about him being a young guy and running a half mile for the first time. It was going to be a little iffy there maybe in traffic. Now it clears the way for him and opens up the racetrack.
We have a bit of a replay, the back end of it. Looks like the nose wing got ripped off on Higday's. Hard to tell how they got together, but apparently they did. They'll get them pushed off, fired up if they can, and back in line, and we'll take care of some more business. For more green flag laps here at the Marion County Fairgrounds. Stay with us from the Nationals. Back in time for the restart of the D feature with just 3 laps to go.
Travis Rylett mentioned he had some problems. He was falling back through the field. He stopped there and went to the pit area, could not come back out.
So Ranky in that 02 holds that final transfer spot, the yellow 02. Cameron Dotson is the leader. And we'll be coming around to see the white flag next time by. Oh, and we got a challenge for 3rd. Coming up the bottom, the 56 of Chris Walraven, taking the final transfer spot as we cross the white flag. Walraven now pulling away from Ranky. And look at this. Here comes a battle for the lead to the checkered flag, but Rylett's going to get there, or Dotson's going to get there first, I should say. Troy Little will hold on for 2nd. And Chris Walraven in the 56 will steal the final transfer spot away from Mike Ranky. Cameron Dotson, the winner of the D feature, will take Troy Little and Chris Walraven with him to the backside of the C feature, yet to go here tonight. Now there's another driver who's already set into tonight's D feature, Donnie Schatz with Dave Argarello.
Well, Donnie Schatz starting 6th. Buddy, you've been oh so close here the last few years. You've finished 2nd twice in the past 3 years. What about tonight? Is this the night that you break through and get it?
I hope so. My guys told me I got the best race car and the best engine combination here, and they put it all in my court tonight, so we'll see if we get her done.
You know, you're a 2nd-generation guy. Your dad raced open-wheel cars. How much of a factor is that for your desire and your ambitions in your career?
Well, I was pretty unfortunate. I never got to see my father race, but back in the day when he raced, it was more for fun than anything, and I'm just awful fortunate that I've been able to make a career out of it, and I wouldn't be here without my dad.
You were pretty young when you started. I remember you racing World of Outlaw cars. I think you were still a teenager, and that, I think, has been a big factor. You're still a young man, a young racer, but now you come into the Nationals with an awful lot of experience. How much does that help you?
Well, it helps you when you're really struggling, like coming into the Nationals this year. We've had some really awesome performances here in the last couple of years, and we come in here this year kind of blind, and here we are. We're as capable as anybody here tonight of winning this thing, and that's the experience is kind of what's gotten us here this year. We just, for some reason, haven't been able to get it all together, and I'm just going to pray to God tonight that we get it done.
Well, he told us earlier that when he came over to the stage, I said, make yourself at home. And he said, heck, I'm at home over by these big trophies. That's the right mindset. We'll be right back to the Knoxville Nationals after this. Stay with us right here on Speed, because we're throwing dirt clear to the moon. Stay with us.
In August, Fox Movie Channel.
A Fiat Spider, 1980. Well, I called it Shorty. The day that I got pulled over by the police 5 times. That would be the most memorable drive I ever took in that particular drive.
You are looking live at Billy Alley out of Nebraska. The young driver behind the wheel of the number 22 from Lincoln, Nebraska, ready to go with B-Main hot laps. Here we go. On board Billy Alley.
This is great. Makes you feel like you're right back in the race car again. You can see him working the wheel. That blue thing you see to the left, that's the wing valve. Watch to see if he reaches down and pulls that. That slides the wing back.
That's Erin Crocker, the only female ever to make an A-Main here at the Nationals. Just in front of him, the red 16. You can notice on the gauges, on the dashboard, only 1 gauge.
Well, he's got water temperature, and on the right, you'll see the other one, oil pressure. Just those two generally, it's all they want.
Look at the mud getting picked up. There goes a tear-off.
Talked about him earlier, that they just rip that thing off. See him getting covered up again. You can see it starting to build up there. These guys get used to looking through quite a mess sometimes. And you can see he's pretty busy. Usually wait till you get to the straightaway to reach up and pull that tear-off off.
One of the things about the sitting position in this car is you sit very straight up and down, as if you were driving a bus, and one car spun over in turn 3. That's the 51 of Dean Jacobs.
Yeah, up on the berm there. Can't see what happened if he just spun and got up on there, but...
Boy, Dean's had a tough time. Got hit basically in the head by another car in a wreck just a week or so back.
Yeah, luckily he had a high seat like we just saw there in Billy Alley's car, and the seat took a lot of that blow.
Fortunately, Dean's okay, but he does have a black eye. The seat did its job, as did the roll cage, in protecting him from making it even worse. Here's a look at the results from the D feature, which Cameron Dotson, that young 16-year-old, did such a tremendous job of winning. And it will be Dotson, Little, and Walraven going on to the C feature. Tony Bacco.
Well, Cameron, for a driver that's used to running on 3/8 and quarter miles, you've adapted the half mile pretty well.
Well, it's been a frustrating week so far. I mean, we started out, we've just improved a ton. Every time I go out on the track, just get faster and faster. I mean, the joy of seating and the Hoosier tires, Penske shocks, they've all came together. Troy Hollingsworth, they've all came together and put on an excellent setup. It's just made it get easier to drive.
What will you do different for the next race?
Well, I'm starting last, so I'm going to have to be on it. It's not going to be any of this given to me starting up there. So I got a lot of good guys like Steve Kenzer in there. Just do our best and try to get up there.
Good job tonight.
Thank you.
Ralph.
Wow, what a learning curve for this 16-year-old. Well, so far, he's earned an A on his report card here at the Nationals. Stay with us. We're coming back. We're back to the Knoxville Raceway, the 44th annual Knoxville Nationals. It's all coming to you live on Speed Channel, and we're showing you every single thing that turns a lap here tonight. Here's another great look. Beautiful National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Dave?
Well, Billy Alley, just a couple of weeks ago, you won the 360 Nationals here at Knoxville. How much does that help you now? You got to make this change to 410 racing.
Well, it's a huge transition, especially with all the competition here in Knoxville this weekend. You make one little mistake, as I did on Wednesday night, and you're sitting in the middle of a B feature. There's just so much competition, and you got to be very, very fast to, get up in the same main.
Any butterflies now, the biggest night of the year here in sprint car racing?
Oh, there's always butterflies, no matter where you're at. If you're in some little track in Iowa or some little track in Nebraska, back home, there's always butterflies. It's just overcoming it with all these great fans here tonight, and Speedway Motors been on with me, and just let it ride.
Now, you got that onboard camera you're carrying for us. I got to ask you, is it as exciting as it looks? That looks pretty hairy.
Oh, it's something. We tried something new in hot laps there, and it didn't quite work. So, we'll go back to our old regular setup and hope I can pass some cars and make it exciting for everyone.
What was it that you tried?
Well, there's bars on the back of the car, and it's like springs, and we tried to lower the car, and we're just trying some stuff because there's a lot of fast cars in front of us in this B feature, and we got to be a rocket ship if we want to get to the front.
I think they call those torsion bars. How about that? That's pretty good. I knew
That's
that.
right, Dave.
How about that? How about that? Let's go to Tony Bacco.
Well, Skip Jackson, you just came in off the track from a hot lap session. What did you see out there?
The bottom's real good and the top's real good, so it's going to be awfully fast.
You were the 97 and 98 track champion here. Will you use any of that past knowledge for your assault on tonight's races?
Yeah, we've got a great team behind me. Rob Surface and myself and Jimmy and Scotty. My brother Paul back in Australia. We'll just give it our best shot.
We expect to see you up on the cushion, or will you be down on the bottom?
Bit of both.
All right, good luck tonight, Skip.
Thank you very much.
Skip Jackson, third here in the weekly points that they run here throughout the week, or throughout the summertime at the Knoxville Speedway.
Former champion here a few years ago also, and a couple times, and moved over here, lives here in the summertime. One of the many Australians that come over here. A lot of Australian influence in this race, and a lot of our guys go down there. A lot of crossover. Of course, it's our summer's their winter, so it works out well for sprint car drivers to do both.
Well, you know, you heard that Australian accent from Skip, and one of the things that takes place is there's some racing here in the States and in Australia that makes up a big points battle that leads to the Kelly World Challenge, made up of drivers from New Zealand, Australia, and America. It took place here last night. At the start of the Kelly World Challenge, presented by Fleet Buying Group, it was New Zealand Stevie Walsh on the pole with American Joey Saldana alongside. And it was Joey who grabbed the early lead heading down into turn 1. But it was a freight train from another American, the 21, the blue and silver car of Darren Pittman, that came storming up the inside of turn 3 to take over the lead. Pittman's had troubles this season, but not on this night. Car number 21 was incredibly strong and opened up a huge lead, while Saldana fought up the challenge of Australian Brooke Tatnell, but would eventually give way. Pittman claimed the $10,000 win.
We've been struggling all weekend. I tell you what, that was by far the best we've been. I could go top, bottom, anywhere. It's hard to smile when you're that far back in the standings for tomorrow night, but I tell you what, this helps out a lot, and you know, thanks to Kelly and everybody for putting this on.
I got a terrible start, and Darren got away, and I mean, I think even if we would have got a better start, I don't think we had anything for him. He just had that thing dialed in, but you know, run second here. You know, it's an honor to me because Kelly was the company that backed me, and I wouldn't be in America right now if it wasn't Kelly and Associates, and they're the one that funded our Outlaw Tour back in '99, and it's just a tribute to Kelly and Associates for this World Challenge, and great tradition to keep carrying on.
Another big part of the Knoxville Nationals, the Kelly World Challenge, and there is Darren Pittman, who won that event last night, claimed that $10,000 check, and he's looking for some more money. And another big win as he will be on the pole for the C feature, and starting alongside him, the man that's taken more of those big trophies out of here than anybody, the king of the Outlaws, Steve Kinzer. Back to row 2, man that finished second last night, Brooke Tatnell, and alongside Jesse Giannetto in the D1. Back to row 3, Rob Cheney and Danny Smith, as he said, he's in the first of the A features. Travis Whitney will be in the 9T with Lucas Wolf alongside in row 4. Row 5, another Kinzer, Kelly Kinzer in the 4K, and Manny Rockhold in the O2X. Row 6, young Travis Cram in the 92, and a wily veteran if there ever was one, the slamming Sammy Swindell, number 1. Jeremy Campbell's in the 10C, and another veteran of the World of Outlaw Tour, Joey Saldana, whose dad won this event in car 2. Row 8, Mark Smith in the 1Z, and another Australian Max Dumpsney in the 83M. Lauren Langerood will be in the 56L, and Brandon Wimmer in the 7TW in row 9. Row 10, Gary Lee Meyer, a veteran of 360 races, running here again at the Knoxville National, and Clint Gardner in the 40. Row 11, young Cameron Dotson with Troy Little in the 20AU. And rounding out the field, Chris Walraven. Now, we've also been told that Max Dumpsney has DQ'd or scratched out of the C main, and 2 cars will come from the C main to the B. there's slamming Sammy Swindell.
Kind of a generic looking race car. That's his own race car put together within the last couple of weeks.
But pristine in its look and maintenance. Sammy always perfection with his car when it rolls off the trailer, the way the thing is presented.
He expects perfection from everybody around him too, and as you said, the cars are always so nice and so neat and very, very clean.
Multi-time former champion with the Outlaws, but nobody's won more Outlaw championships than this man, and he's earned that title, the King. 18 national championships, 12 times he's won here at the A feature. Over 500 A feature victories with the Outlaws. Just incredible stats. Visor down as he warms up the big Quaker State number 11. Race feature, 23 cars, 15 laps, and 2 of them, Brad, moving on to the B.
And again, those guys transferring up through. When you get to the C main and you have talent like Steve Kinzer and Danny Smith, Sammy Swindell, Joey Saldana, all these other guys as well, obviously it's getting tougher and tougher, but when you have a C main like this, the B main is really going to be tough.
Steve Kinzer said to us earlier tonight that he didn't think he stood a chance. I'm sorry, Steve Kinzer in a race car, he stands a chance no matter where he is, just because who he is and how he can manhandle that race car. Dave?
Well, I'll tell you something, Ralph. We did the interview a little bit earlier with Steve Kinzer, and he was sort of laid back saying, well, yeah, we'll just take what we can get and see what we can get. I know that guy pretty well, and I can tell you that he's up in the saddle, and he's going to get everything out of that race car that's there. And then if he gets into the B, he's going to do it all again. He never gives up until it's all over with, and this tonight, I think, is going to be an excellent example of it right there.
As long as those wheels are turning, he's got a chance.
Absolutely, and I guarantee you Darren Pittman or anybody else in that race isn't taking him easy. Blake Fees, right there with the 12X, he's already set up for the B feature. His crew making final adjustments.
Looks like they're making a rear end change there. They got the torsion arms and bars off, the radius rods are off. Looks like they possibly are changing the rear end. You can see it right there. He's getting, that's the left rear torsion arm. He's trying to slide it back on the torsion bar. Shock's right there in front of his head.
Tony, what's going on down there?
Well, Ralph and Brad, looks like they're doing they're actually changing the drive line now, and they're actually putting it all back together. Blake's down there helping them re-block the car. They've got the setup blocks in, and they're actually starting to put the torsion bars back on and get the car put back together.
Blake hasn't spent much time with this team this year, but he's driven for them in the past, has won for them in the past. Of course, he's a part of the Hendrick Motorsports driver development program, so he's been doing a lot of stuff for Rick Hendrick's team.
And he credits a lot of that, remember, because just a couple years ago, he won in Charlotte in an outlaw race in Guy Forbrook's car, and you know, that kind of catapulted him to things and won that ARCA race. So he's glad to get back in a sprint car when he can, but obviously he wants to go on to different things.
Line him up, says Doug Clark.
Darren Pittman, you saw how fast he was in that Kelly race last night. Boy, whatever they found, they're hoping they still have it for tonight.
If Steve Kinzer doesn't have a very strong engine, so he says, where does he go? How does he win this?
Generally, you want to keep it up on the top momentum. If you feel like you're down on horsepower, you know, if you go to the bottom, you pinch the car, it takes a lot of horsepower. You can just get her wound up on the top and hope that the racetrack goes his way.
Getting set for the C feature, we're underway. Contact in the back of the pack at the start of this one, but everybody keeps going. That's Cameron Dodson, who just won the D feature. He's got a right rear tire going down. Can he get off the track?
Nope, he's down in 1 and 2, stopped. Oh, we got a car
flipping in turn 3 now. Joey Saldana.
And you know what I think happened? The car slowed up. Maybe he didn't see it or something. I mean, they always take the green for safety reasons, and the yellows come on in the back straightaway. Possibly they slowed up in front of Joey Saldana. He didn't see it.
The Volcano Joe's coffee back machine is torn up for now. And there's Dodson's car right in front of Working Woody. Woody will push that car back around, and they should be able to change the tire on that car, get him going again. This is going to be a little tougher.
Yeah, that thing, you can see the left rear took a lot of damage there. The left rear wheel bent. Chances are there's pretty severe rear end damage, but the torsion arm is still connected. That's a good sign. Don't see the shocks.
That's the bars at the lower part, just inside of that left rear wheel. Let's see what happened here at the start. Watch the silver 37 on the outside. He ran right up over the car in front of him.
And that's what flattened his right rear. He slapped the wall. See the tire going down right there already.
Yeah, Joey Saldana spins in turn 3 and over to the wall it goes.
Looking at that, that thing's not, maybe it wasn't as bad as it initially looked.
They're going to certainly have to change the top wing and the left rear. Everything else looks like it might be okay. Well, we'll get Joey and Cameron off the track, see if they can get their cars repaired, and we'll be back and ready to go racing with the C feature when we return to Knoxville on Speed Channel.
Let's face it, men want to look good too. Our hair is different than women's. That's why I created M Professional, hair care for men. Take my styling gel. It makes your hair thicker and fuller. You'll get the style that you want with great all-day hold. The best thing, all of our products are salon quality, but at half the price. The bottom line, you get M Professional, women will love the way you look.
Get the look you want tomorrow when you get M Professional today.
Well, that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Really great loan offers.
Remember, no points.
Okay. We'll let you know.
I think we got some pretty good mortgage offers there.
Yeah. Of course, we still need to pick a real estate agent.
Sorry about that, guys.
Now you can find a mortgage and a real estate agent all in one place. At LendingTree.com, you can search for homes, select a real estate agent, and choose a mortgage. Plus, you can get up to a $2,000 gift card to the Home Depot when you close with an agent certified by LendingTree.
Sunday on Speed, Formula One, the Hungarian Grand Prix. Schumacher's 11th win tied the record. Now he wants an even dozen. The Hungarian Grand Prix, live Sunday, 7:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
Next week on Wind Tunnel, ALMS car owner Dave Mirage, NASCAR star Dave Blaney, the guy who first put Jeff Gordon in a race car. That would be John Bickford, and Sam Posey, the racer turned journalist. We start Monday night at 10 Eastern.
What's up with the thing? And we left it on. Huh? Yeah, it's been running all day. Cool. Maybe we should do something. That's so not cool.
Don't just take a stand. Act. The most powerful way is to simply register and vote.
It's a triple header for the Speed World Challenge Series, north of the border from Mosport International Raceway near Toronto. Starting at 1 Eastern for the Speed GT Series, followed at 2 by the touring cars, and finally at 3 o'clock Eastern for more from the Speed GT Championship. World Challenge from Mosport tomorrow afternoon, starting at 1, only on Speed. That's a look at the front grandstands here at the Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa. Speed Channel is here live for the 44th annual Knoxville Nationals, presented by the Midwest Ford Dealers. I'm Ralph Shaheen, along with Brad Doty up here in the booth calling the action for you. Dave Argerwright and Tony Bachkoven working the infield for us tonight. We're trying to get the C feature finished off here. Joey Saldana, involved in it from Brownsburg, Indiana, was involved in an incident over in turn 3. And Tony, you got more on how the repairs are coming.
Well, it looks like, Ralph, they're going to put some tires on it. They've tried to pry the top wing as straight as they can. If you look back at the tank here in just a second, you'll see that the fuel cell's bashed in, but they're not messing with it. They're just going around the car right now, making sure all the bars and everything are still connected. The right front shock, however, is broken, so they've got to attend to that yet before they can get the car back out.
And that's his car owner right there in the white shirt with the hat on. Volcano Joe's coffee sponsorship on the car.
I don't like what he showed there. He kind of gave the signal like they're done. You know, she looked at Joey Saldana and kind of like maybe they're done. They said the right front shocks broke off. He could possibly still run without the right front as long as it's broke off at the bottom and not the top. But they still have a little time yet. But looks like the car owners may be ready to give up as they do show one to go. Well, that's tough as a driver, man. This is a Nationals. You don't. But
Cameron Dodson has made it back onto the track. Joey, by the way, very good friends with Paul McMahon, who had a big incident here earlier in the week that we showed you. Joey did a very nice thing, donating the money from his t-shirt sales here this week to Paul to help cover the costs.
Yeah, the broken tailbone, he's going to be out for a while. These cars don't ride very well, especially on a rough racetrack.
Getting set to go back to green. C feature, 15 laps. 2 to the beat. We're green. Steve Kinzer with the jump. He's got the lead. Down the backstretch. Top 2 transfer. Whoa, one car spinning around in turn 3. Can he get it going again? That's the 11X. Gary Lee Meyer. And he's going to come to a stop, and that's not what King Kinzer needed to see. Boy, Steve, once he had the lead there, Brad, really needed that one to stay green for a while.
Yeah, they all do. I mean, they want to just get this thing over with and get transferred, make sure they get to the next race, and again, he'll have to focus, though, as Steve Kinzer always does, on what that thing's doing, so he can tell Scott Gherkin what we need to do, what kind of tires, and tires are going to be the key. This track is changing all night long, so they're going to have to be careful on the compound.
Aaron Crocker was certainly the big story here last year as they continue to work on Saldana's car. He could get back in this thing since we haven't completed a lap. Let's find out more about Aaron. She's with Dave Argabright.
That's right, Ralph. 1 year ago, this lady took sprint car racing and the Knoxville Nationals by storm. Qualified for the A main on her first night and her rookie of the race honors. Aaron Crocker, sprint car racing, flatly just fell in love with you last year. Now this year you come back, it's a little bit tougher. You're now in the B main.
Yeah, I have a greater appreciation for what I did last year coming back. And everything just fell into place last year. And this year started off with a bad pill draw, and I realized just how difficult the Knoxville Nationals are.
You know, we'll talk to you a little bit more, but you've got some things going with Ford. We hope to revisit this here in just a minute. We're going to go racing, but if you'll stick with us, we want to hear a little bit more about the Ford development program.
Sounds good.
And let's go back racing. Ralph Shaheen.
All right, Dave. Gary Lee Meyer did get going again. He's going to be at the back of the pack. Gary finished 9th here just a few days back, and they completed the 360 Nationals. Very good 360 series driver. Getting ready to go green, and the King with a good jump again. And down the backstretch, Kinzer continues to lead. And Brad, he's opening up a bit of a lead over Pittman and Tatnall, who runs in third, one spot out of a transfer.
Boy, from that speed shot, you can tell just how fast these cars are. From this upper angle up here, you don't really get the sense of speed, but when they go by that camera, you can just see how fast they are. Steve Kinzer, he said, pulling away right now.
Yeah, remember, he said he can't win this. There's Sammy Swindell, the white number 1, trying to work his way up through traffic. He's got a long ways to go. He sits in 5th or 4th right now, trying to get those last couple of spots. Travis Cram on the outside in the yellow 92. He's going to be the next one. Sammy's going to blast past. Sammy working the bottom beautifully.
He really is stuck right down there as he goes by Cheney out of turn 4. You see the black right there through the middle of the racetrack getting into one's a little bit slick, but there's a lot of moisture on the bottom, and that's where Steve's running, and that's where Sammy Swindell is running.
Look at the lead Steve Kinzer has opened up on Pittman.
This is going to be a lot of fun seeing Steve Kinzer trying to come through the field tonight.
There's Pittman. Now where's Sammy? Here he comes on the bottom. He's upstairs there. He was 11th on the last lap. He's up to 8th now as the timing and scoring system catches up with everything.
See what he did there, Ralph? He went in on the top and turned the car and drove down off the bottom trying to get a hold of that moisture and got a run on the car there in front of him, and he's going to try to get both of them. Here's Danny Smith's in front of him.
That's Danny Smith on the bottom in the white Ford. With 9 to go, Brad, he's still got some time to maybe catch Pittman. A yellow at certainly help him.
Exactly, that's the key. That's what he needs right now is a yellow. He needs more than one yellow, actually. Keep bunching them up because they're so far out in front of him right now. He is having a little trouble with Danny Smith right now.
Well, Danny Smith is no easy pick to stink away from. And the King now starts working through traffic, gets past Cameron Dotson.
I was talking earlier, Ralph, about, when you move up through the fields, these A, B's, and C's, it gets tougher and tougher. Well, the same thing in the race itself.
Whoa, that's what Sammy wanted, a car here on the front stretch. That is Mark Smith in the Zemco car.
Left rear torn clear off of it there. What I was saying to Ralph, it gets tougher as you go up through the races. Well, not only the race, the event itself, when you start in the back like that, as Sammy knows, you get up through maybe halfway up through the field. There's some slower cars back through there. When you get up to the top 10, it starts getting really tough, especially with this field in this C main.
Running them down is one thing, passing them another, and a guy like Danny Smith is not easy to get around. Let's see if we can figure out what happened. We got a tail end look at this thing. Just backing up into the inside retaining wall.
Yeah, something cut the left rear tire down.
Well, we've had a couple of flips. There could be some shrapnel of metal laying around.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe even some rocks. I mean, these tires are so thin. Another flat right there.
Tony Bakoven taking a look.
Well, Ralph, two cars sitting down here, both with left rear tires down, Troy Little and Lauren Langerud. So maybe there's something out there causing these tires to get cut down. Mark Smith's car, tires gone.
So that's Langerud's there, the 56L.
Yeah, so that's 3 cars with left rear tires. I mean, that's pretty ironic. I mean, it's something. Maybe there's something in the groove that they were running. I don't know if they were all running around the bottom of the racetrack, but to have 3 left rear tires go flat, you don't see that very often.
Langerud, the winner at the Rodex 360 Tournament of Champions just a few days back. And let's go back to more with Dave Argerbright and Aaron Crocker.
Aaron Crocker, tell us a little bit about the development program now that Ford has put together that you're a part of.
Well, I don't know exactly what the plan is. In the next few weeks, I'll be testing a midget a few more times. Hopefully, if all goes well, I'll be running a Bobby, Steve Lewis, USAC midget next year. And from there, I'm not too sure. We're going to take it one step at a time.
You tested it in my old hometown, Anderson Speedway. What'd you think of the midget?
I liked it. That was a really neat little track, a quarter-mile high bank track. I had a lot of fun. Midget is a lot different than a wing sprint car, a little bit more twitchy, and running pavement I'm certainly not used to, but it was a good time.
Now, what about how does that affect your thoughts of still running some sprint car racing? I mean, will that be something that may take you away and you won't be able to run this as much?
Well, nothing's definite at this point. And the USAC midget schedule only has about 26 or 27 races, so that leaves some time for some wing sprint car races.
No matter what, you got to find a way to come back to Knoxville. These people love you.
You bet. I love it here, especially coming back next year. I'd love to qualify better and not have to work my way through the B main, but I really love running these 410s and running with Steve Kinzer, Danny Lasowski every night in and night out. It's great learning for me as a driver, and it's running with the best.
Well, they call her the First Lady, and we'll see her race coming up here just after this.
Aaron's mom was not here last year, and when she tuned into our coverage and saw it, she said, oh boy, I need to make sure I'm there next time. You see Mark Smith is back out there. So she came out with Aaron this year, and they were walking around, and of course now Aaron's a big-time celebrity, and people have been buying her shirts and yelling at her name, and she's been getting recognized all over town. And Aaron told me she was walking around recently, and some lady yelled out, hey, Aaron! And Aaron's mom said, do we know them? And Aaron said, Mom, I've got fans. Tony?
Well, guys, you can see the tread's not wore off this tire. There's a hole right here in the center of it, and it's not a very big one, but that's all it takes.
Pretty thin carcass to these tires, Brett. Doesn't take a lot to poke through.
Yeah, very, very thin, and you can see something cut that.
Here's a look at the top 5 after 7 laps of the 15 that are scheduled. Top 2 transfer, that's Steve Kinzer and Darren Pittman. Tatnall sits 1 spot out of it. Now Steve Kinzer's going to have to go through a restart process with an engine he doesn't really know, and Sammy Swindell sitting back in 7th.
Yeah, Steve Kinzer, what they've found, they've had wrist pin problems. They've been breaking a lot of wrist pins in their engines. And boy, that can explode. They put bigger ones, beefier ones in Craig Kinzer's car for tonight. They did get those changed, but we'll see if Steve can hang on all through tonight.
We got a good jump. And a lap car of Cameron Dotson between the King and Pittman. That'll help. Tatnall back in 3rd in that black black and yellow 66. Sammy already up to 6th. There he is in the white number 1. Trying to catch Lucas Wolf in the 5.
And Wolf going around Giannetto there, well, trying to. He started 8th, so he's kind of on the move there. Looked like he had a run on the top of the racetrack. Looked like he was making that work, but Sammy goes to the inside.
That's Jesse Giannetto in the black 1. Comes through the middle. Sammy's got 1, and he's going to get Giannetto as well by the time he gets to turn 1. He's still got a ways to go, Brad. That should put him up to about 5th.
Now, once they run a complete lap so that lap counts, now is when he needs another caution flag to bunch him back up again.
And Steve Kinzer is pulled away from Pittman. Well, there comes Sammy around the lap car of Dodson. Oh, and 1 hard into the wall in turn 2. There's another yellow for Sammy. Yes, it is Jesse Giannetto. And the steering wheel comes tossed out from the bottom.
Just got a quick release on that steering wheel. That's how the driver would get in and out, and that's a good sign that he's okay, probably a little mad, but release the steering wheel to get out. Hard hit on the back straightaway. You can see the axle shoved back. Don't know why he got in the wall, but he really, we're getting word that something broke and put him in the wall, but hard hit back there.
See if we've got it on the replay. There he is on the bottom.
Oh, yeah, definitely something, man. Wow. Straight across the racetrack. Wow, to go from the inside to the outside, that was a hard hit. Something on the front end had to have broken on that car.
Well, there's a lot of things broken on it now after that heavy impact. That was a big hit all the way across the track.
You know, maybe whether he got in the infield, clipped the berm and bounced up and broke something on the front end, or something just snapped in the steering or whatever, but boy, oh boy.
Right, after seeing an impact like that, and you can see the type of fencing that we have here, it's just a very high, almost guardrail, Armco type of fencing. Is a big dirt track like this a possible candidate for something like the safer barriers that we've seen installed around some of the other racetracks around the country?
How could it not be, I guess? You know, anytime you absorb some impact, it would almost have to be better. These steel guardrails that they have here, does, as you can see, the dents that he put in, that does kind of cushion the blow a little bit. And again, I mean, it's something that's really never been pursued, I guess, but I don't see how it could hurt anything.
Something to look into. Here's a look at the top 5 in our C feature after 10 of the 15 completed, and look who's moved up to 4th. Slamming Sammy Swindell, 2 spots out of a transfer. Stay with us. Can Steve Kinzer hang on? Can Sammy get a transfer to the B? We're coming back to Knoxville.
Ode to swapping paint. For scraping paint off other cars, I'm one of NASCAR's rising stars. For artistry in touch and go, they call me Michelangelo.
Racing inspires greatness. Witness the Ford Mustang Mach-1. As always, true to the legend. Experience Ford Championship Weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway. For tickets, call 1-866-409-RACE.
In Nevada, all roads lead to adventure, but you still need a guide. Not that guide.
This guide.
Your all-in-one multi-tool for taking on the silver stage, where the possibilities are wide open. Call 1-800-370-2816 right now and get the Nevada Adventure Guide, plus the Nevada Visitor's Guide free.
Awesome.
Hey, I'm filming here. TNT NASCAR 2004. New rules, new drama.
It's the race to the chase.
43 men enter.
Only a handful go for the cup.
You do the math.
10 races.
1 big trophy. And 1 big check.
What happens if you're number 11?
Do I really got to answer that?
The race to the chase is on TNT.
The race to the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup continues from Watkins Glen, August 15th on TNT.
NASCAR is drama.
All new Speed Monday. First, get that parking ticket thrown out.
Thousands and thousands of people got off their parking fines last year.
I've had 8 tickets and I've managed to get off every single one of them.
Justice will be done.
Then, Get the lowdown on roadside speed cameras.
Do not panic.
They've got the tips that keep you in the fast lane.
Oh my goodness.
Convinced yet? Well, you should be.
All new back-to-back episodes of Fifth Gear, Monday, 9 Eastern, 10 Pacific, only on Speed.
Sunday on Speed, Formula One, the Hungarian Grand Prix. Schumacher's 11th win tied the record. Now he wants an even dozen. The Hungarian Grand Prix, live Sunday, 7:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
Welcome back live to the Knoxville Nationals. You know, one racer this year that's had the experience of getting on the other side is Dale Blaney. You and your brother, your family, your dad have put together the deal to run Sharon Speedway out in Ohio. Now, it's a whole lot different driving a race car than preparing a racetrack. Tell me about it.
Yeah, night and day. No worries when you're driving. You know, out here we just concentrate on working on the race car, and you know, that's about it. But you got to please a lot of people when you're working on a racetrack. You know, we average probably 135, 140 cars a week, you know, at Sharon Speedway. So, I mean, it has its good days and bad days, you know, like racing, but we've turned that facility into a really, really nice place, and we're all kind of proud of it.
Now, what was it, a big learning curve to try to figure out how to do all this?
Nah, I mean, I've seen a lot of it. I mean, I've seen racetracks prepared all over the country, and I guess it just kind of depends on the dirt you have, you know, how you prepare it and how much you have to do to it. So, you know, it's kind of a trick, but we're learning. I mean, this is our third year, and, you know, we're getting better and better at it.
For you, everything's a big learning curve, big boy. You know that? Yes. You know, my friend Jack Hewitt tells me that he was an official for a while last year, and he says, boy, after doing this, I'll never yell at another race official. How about that? Is that a different feeling?
Yeah, I mean, you just get to see the other side of it a ton. You know, guys come up to you with the same problems that you used to have as a driver, and you know, sometimes you don't react the right way to it. I mean, sometimes I'll get a little upset, but you just gotta no, not at all. I mean, you just gotta let it roll off, let them guys, you know, get their thoughts and feelings off their shoulders, and you just gotta absorb it all. And at the end of it, you just gotta pat them on the back, say, hey, I mean, we're learning every time. I mean, you never make the right call all the time. You just hope to make as good a call as you can. Sometimes at the spur of the moment, you can mess things up real good, but most of the time we try real hard to please everybody.
Yeah, I've seen you around this weekend. Looks like you're having some fun out here this year. I mean, I know there's a lot of tension, a lot of stress to running the Nationals, but do you just try to cut loose and just at least enjoy the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's truly the biggest race of the year, and there's a little bit of pressure involved with it, but you know, to come out here and run good. We've had a really, really good year so far. I think we've won 6 All-Star races, an Outlaw race. So, I mean, we've done really well, but we don't really ever see these big flat half miles at all where we run. It's about, you know, I've been out here since '01, and we ran Terre Haute once last year. So, I don't know how our expectations were coming in, but we was just hoping to get in the A main somehow, and we've got a little ways to go in the B, but maybe we can get something done.
Well, Dale Blaney, we wish you luck. Hope you can get in there. You've got a little ways to go, but let's talk to Tony Bacco.
Well, you can see they're loading up Jesse Janetto's car. I just spoke with crew chief Glenn Freeland, and they said the pitman arm came off of the car, and that's what caused the accident.
Well, the pitman arm is the arm directly from the steering box, hooks to the drag link up to the front axle. It's on the left side of the car. Boy, that's big when that comes off. I mean, we said something in the steering broke because that thing just went straight into the wall. And whether it's stripped, they have serrations on there or splines, and whether it stripped that out or a bolt broke or what, but boy, to have that come off is basically like take the steering wheel coming off in your hands.
They did get Jesse out of the car and put a splint on his right ankle. That's all we know at this time. We saw Dale Blaney, obviously the brother of Dave Blaney, who's competing in the Nextel Cup Series now, former World of Outlaws Series champion, Dave. And they now are back in the racetrack business as well when they're not racing.
Sharon Speedway, they took it from a big half mile down to a 3/8, but more importantly, they just built a 3-level suites and luxury boxes that are really impressive and done a great job there at Sharon Speedway.
Some of the colorful fans for Ed Lynch Jr. You know, 2 of the biggest names that we've seen here in sprint car racing is at Knoxville is the Kinsers, Mark and Carl. We expect good things out of them. There's Mark. Good to see those two back here this week after Carl had issues himself with his health here last year.
Yeah, as Mark said, he doesn't even remember. It was just a blur last year, you know, at the Nationals, and anything that happens this year is going to be better than what happened last year.
There's only one guy who's won more races here at Knoxville than Steve Kinzer. That's Carl Kinzer as a crew chief.
Absolutely, and you know, he's Dick Gaines, Steve Kinzer, Mark Kinzer, all the drivers that have won the Knoxville Nationals. You know, and Carl Kinzer, basically, this is Dennis Ross' race car. Carl Kinzer is paid mechanic now. I asked him if he's ever worked for anybody else. He said, no, not really. I said, well, about time you get a job, isn't it, Carl? And he, you know, big chuckle over that, but he's enjoying it. Mark seems to be having a good time, and they've been pretty impressive with this team.
They'll certainly be tough by the time we get to the A feature tonight. And will this guy be there as well? Cousin Steve, Mark and Steve Kinzer, cousins. Steve drove many, many years for Carl. A lot of those 18 World of Outlaw Championships came with Carl spinning the wrenches on Steve's car. And it was a big, big night here. When Steve came back after his foray into NASCAR under his own team without Carl, and he won here at the Nationals, that was a big deal.
Yeah, well, it was a personal win for him. I felt, you know, I always felt like he was that cloud or that shadow of Carl Kinzer, and to win it on his own with his own team, that was big.
Getting set to go back to green. C feature back underway. Steve Kinzer, your leader. Here comes Sammy Swindell on the bottom in the white number 1.
The 37 car there, Dodson, is a lap car, but he's got to get by him to get up to Brooke Tatnall.
Tatnall's upstairs in the Trop Arctic 66, and Darren Pittman's right behind him. Sammy really working the bottom. And working the bottom, Brad, is tough to do with 4 to go because you're working the gas and the brake.
Yeah, especially when the racetrack's telling us you got to 3-wheel brakes these cars. They'll use that brake to keep the car turned, keep him tight on the bottom. If the car pushes it or slides out, they tap that brake, pull the car back to the bottom, and laps are running out.
He's losing ground to these two, battling for that transfer spot.
That's the battle right there. Brooke Tatnall. Oh, Pittman does what he had to do. He goes to the bottom, and you can see that Tatnall had to go to the top now.
Brooks slides wide, and he's going to work around the outside of Darren Pittman to take over second. 2 to go. Steve Kinzer continues to pull away. There he goes, disappearing into 3. Coming off of 4. Sammy slowed down the backstretch. It looks like Sammy Swindell's car is giving up as the white flag is out.
Boy, Darren Pittman looked like he was going to hang in there and have a transfer spot for a while. Brooke Tatnall's getting faster as this race goes on. The battle is out of 3 and 4.
Steve Kinzer wins the C feature. Here they come off of 4. Brooke Tatnall's going to beat Darren Pittman to the line by about half a car length to move himself on to tonight's B feature. And Steve Kinzer says, I don't think I can win the Knoxville Nationals this year. Well, he looked pretty good in the C feature, winning it by a healthy margin. Steve Kinzer moves on to the B feature, and slamming Sammy Swindell heads to the trailer. His night, his Nationals are done. Stay with us. We're coming back. The B feature. Can the King of the Outlaws move on to the A? We'll have it for you live on Speed.
Let's face it, men want to look good too. Our hair is
The population of the town of Knoxville, Iowa, about 7,000, close to 40,000 packed into this big half mile tonight. 5 times or so the size of the town's population. There's a look at the top 5 from the C feature. Of course, only the top 2 move on to the very back end of the B feature, and one of them will be this man, Tony.
Steve Kinzer, you're real busy. We won't keep you long, but look pretty fast there in the main there. You're on your way to the B.
Yeah, the only problem is the track's just too fast around the bottom, too heavy, and not going to be a whole lot of passing, so that's the bad news.
Well, they call you the king. We're sure you can figure it out.
Well, I could have, maybe the track opened up, but it's not the case. It's the best it's been all week, and it's just too much moisture down there.
Good luck tonight.
Okay, Brad, what's he saying? Too much moisture on the bottom. What does that mean? How does he get around that problem?
Well, I said earlier, the track, when it slicks off, cars slow down, they start sliding around. That's when you see a lot of passing. That's what he's talking about. The track is so good that basically they can run around there wide open. When you're running wide open, everybody's running equal speeds. It's harder to pass. When the track slicks off, the chassis set up, the tire combination, driver expertise, running the brake and the throttle together, that's when it really comes into play. So he's a little disappointed that the track is in too good a shape right now.
We're going over to Sammy.
Is that something we can expect to change, or is it
Oh yeah,
much locked into that?
The more they run it, the more it's going to dry out. But boy, by A main, it's going to be a good race. But Steve Kinzer, of course, he'd like to see it a little drier right now.
It's an old buddy of yours, Kenny Mouse Jacobs, a kid you grew up with.
You know, and all this is kind of a bonus for him. He basically thought his career was over, couldn't find a ride. He filled in for Darren Ish, who was injured in Pennsylvania earlier in the year, thought it was going to be a couple races. You see him pull a tear off. He's got a full-time ride this year. He's run 2 at the Grove, finds himself on the front row for the Knoxville Nationals.
Kid you used to grow up with, he just became a grandpa, and you're about to hop.
But it was not official till the kids can say it, and that's about another year away. That's what we figured on anyway.
Don't worry, I'll remind you both.
I know you will.
There's Mark Kinzer and Dennis Roth's number 83, the Beef Packers car. Now, Dennis Roth, as a team owner, has won this event before with Danny Lasowski.
And his other car, Tim Kading, won Wednesday night's show here, sitting next to Dennis' booth. Boy, Dennis gets really excited as a car owner, which he should, spends a lot of money, but he was so pumped up to win that race Wednesday night.
Dennis and his wife out of Fresno, California. We got one up along the wall here in the front straightaway.
Looks like Jeff Shepard maybe.
Yep, sure is. This is the A-feature hot lap session.
Barry Jackson, the crew chief and chassis builder on this car. A new design, new frame for him, the JEE chassis.
Jeff taking, as we said earlier, about 2 months off from racing, gets back in the car and wins the first 2 nights out.
Yeah, won in Bill Rose's car, we said earlier, in Michigan, got in this car, won Monday night at Oskaloosa.
Tim Kading, the California kid, giving the hang loose sign and a peace sign. All right, Tim, he's feeling nice and loose. Well, unfortunately, we're done seeing Slam and Sammy for tonight. Tony?
Well, Sammy, a new car, borrowed team, but came up just a little bit short there.
Yeah, well, we just had a problem, you know, on qualifying night, and they got us behind, and the car was one of the fastest cars here, you know, on Wednesday, and our qualifying number kind of hurt us a little bit, and then braking, you know, falling out of the races, that kills you here. So, you know, there wasn't much we could do about that, and we tried to make the best of it, and just tried to run the thing, you know, as light as we could so we could pass people, and didn't know we were going to run that many laps, and, you know, that we just ran out of fuel. So it was a gamble either way. You know, if we'd have had all the extra fuel, we'd have been heavy and might not pass some guys. So it was just a gamble, and it didn't play into our hands. So we'll come back and, you know, had to do it again some other time. But at least we know we had a competitive car. I mean, this car is capable of running up front, you know, if we had the track position, and it just didn't work. The brakes didn't go our way, and yeah, but we'll come back and do it again.
Thanks for coming out here this year, Sammy, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Brad, obviously he knew how many laps were in the race. What he's talking about is he wasn't counting on the amount of laps under yellow.
Yeah. Well, these cars, it's touchy on the fuel hanging over the rear axle, and I understand all that, 7 pounds a gallon, you don't want the extra, it upsets the chassis of the car, but you can't win a race if you don't have enough fuel. To me, if you're worried about weight or you're going to be light, take some weight off somewhere else, but not out of the fuel tank.
Stay with us. We're coming right back to the Knoxville Nationals. Tim Kading, he's cool and loose and ready to go to the A-main.
It's 3 days of awesome parties, fast races, and hot cars. Get into the Nopi lifestyle. All new Nopi Tuner Vision, Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific, only on Speed. All new Speed Monday. First, get that parking ticket thrown out.
Thousands and thousands of people got off their parking fines last year.
I've had 8 tickets, and I've managed to get off every single one of them.
Justice will be done.
Then, get the lowdown on roadside speed cameras.
Do not panic.
They've got the tips that keep you in the fast lane.
Oh, my goodness.
Convinced yet? Well, you should be.
All new back-to-back episodes of Fifth Gear, Monday, 9 Eastern, 10 Pacific, only on Speed.
Welcome back to Knoxville. The man walking around there in the blue Beef Packer shirt with the red sweatshirt hood sticking out the back, that's him, Carl Kinzer, legendary crew chief. It'd be hard-pressed to pick anybody who ever did it better in sprint car racing. As we said, last year it was a tricky week here for Mark and Carl Kinzer.
You know, I guess it's the first time I can remember. I think I can go back as maybe even mid-'80s when I broke a wrist pin leading the race with Bobby Allen won. I can remember every lap of that race. Last year was a complete blur to me. I don't even remember starting the race. I don't remember finishing the race. I remember seeing my dad in the hospital for the next week, and that's about it.
My father, I love him. He wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So I miss him at the racetrack, and God bless him, and he'll be all right.
Well, you know, it's family, and I guess I was quite concerned that he thought that much of his dad. It makes you feel good, I guess, but it definitely took part away from a national performance, you know, out here. And after everything that transpired, why, we just kind of wrote it out, and like Mark told me later, I guess hope Dad's okay. And I was.
How is Carl Kinser today?
Hey, I feel good. We're gonna get him again. Yeah, it's we have a good feeling about the race.
I feel very confident. I've got a very good team. Slim Osborne, Chris Straight's doing a heck of a job night after night. I've got the car that's got the race won, just as long as I can win it.
Mark Kinser sitting here as these cars get ready to race. The circumstances are a whole lot better when we talk to you this year than they were last year with your dad laying in the hospital.
Yeah, you know, we just went out and hot lapped. We're one of the fastest cars on the track, so we're pretty confident about our chances to move up front. You know, we got real good guys in front of us that are running real strong on top of their game, so we'll just have to wait and see how the last 10 laps play out.
You know, earlier this year you struggled a little bit trying to put things together and finally got it going and have won some races. But what would it mean to you to win this race? You've won this thing before, but what would this one tonight mean that would be different?
Well, if we could pull this off in the Roth Motorsports team, you know, we could kind of turn around the last 2 years. Been pretty miserable, and we're working our way ever so slowly up to where we should be. Tonight would really turn the last couple years around, and maybe I might just forget about them totally.
Well, he's ready to wear that great big smile of a champion. Let's go back upstairs to Ralph and Grandpa Brad.
You know, they've got a new trick front end on that car, and Carl told me this front end is so tricky, even I can't figure it out. He goes, but it makes my job much easier. We just bolt it on and go have a cup of coffee. Let's give you the lineup for the B feature here at Knoxville. Starting from the front, Brian Paulus in the number 28 will be on the pole. Kerry Matson on the outside of row number 1. Jeff Matrison in the 17G and the Tim Schaefer in the 6 car on the outside. Calvin Landis in car 70 and Australian Skip Jackson in the 2AU. Aaron Crocker, the First Lady, on the inside of row 4, and Blake Feast from the Rick Hendrick Motorsports Development Program on the outside of row 4. Billy Alley rode on board with him. He's inside row 5. Aaron Perryhill will be on the outside. Ed Lynch Jr., one of the fast drivers out of Pennsylvania in the 2L. Dale Blaney out of Ohio in the 72. Ryan Brown, the nephew of Daniel Lasowski, the 21B, and Lance DeWeese here from Pennsylvania, the 77. Dean Jacobs, that's Kenny's brother, the 51, and Shane Stewart, another young up-and-comer, the 4M. Roger Crockett and Jason Solwold make up row 9. Tim St. Arnold, who had a wreck the other night, and Dennis Moore Jr. out of California in the 0. Row 11, the King. How far up can he get? And Brooke Tatnell in the 66. Tony?
Our court grandstaff for Brooke Tatnell, the driver, he said they took on fuel, tires, and they put a little more gear in the car, but it was a team effort because they didn't have much time.
Blake Feast, we saw him working on his car earlier. There he is in the Beaver-backed machine, the 12X from Saybrook, Illinois.
And they're talking about Tatnell going to more gear. They put a lower gear to turn more RPMs in that car.
There's Aaron Crocker inside in the 16, and we're back to racing. B feature. Wow, look at him slicing and dicing, looking for some clean air, trying to get those big wings to work. Kinser got a horrible start off of this one. Up front, Brian Paulus trying to hold on to the lead, and coming around the outside is the 55 of Kerry Matson giving chase, and the 11 spinning around. That's Roger Crockett.
Boy, good battle developing up front. You saw Tim Schaefer also getting in there from the second row, trying to make it happen. You're talking about Steve Kinser there, Ruff. He was really bottled up in traffic back there. It looked like he was really faster. He was wearing the brakes out to keep from running over people.
Looks like it's going to be a complete restart, and look at how the King just missed Roger Crockett. Wow.
That just goes to show, I mean, anything can happen back there, and you have to have a certain amount of luck in any type of racing. But when you start that far back and you're blasting through, saw Paul McMahon, you know, when his crash, the guy gets sideways in front of you, you're so committed. There's nothing you can do but ride it out.
500 World of Outlaw feature wins, and that does not count the preliminary night events that Steve has won over the years. You add all of that together as you look at our race analysis, man, we're probably talking awful close to 1,000 checkered flags that he has seen.
Unbelievable. Yeah, well, they say it's like 750 with the World of Outlaws alone. He's got USAC wins and, you know, non-sanctioned wins in there. It's just incredible how many wins this guy has.
There she is, young Erin Crocker. How good can she be, Brad? Is she possibly the best female racer?
Probably the best female sprint car racer. You know, she's getting, obviously making the Nationals last year and stuff, the first lady to do that in a sprint car. And I mean, there's not to take away from all the good female sprint car racers in the world, but she's got some good experiences. She's got Mike Woodring behind her. She's got some sponsorships. They've got a good team, and of course that all comes into play, and they're doing a great job.
She told me she's going to get a chance to go run some races later this year in this Ford development program thing. She does not have a signed contract yet. They are working with her to figure out exactly what they're going to do with her, where they're going to take her. But of the test sessions that they ran with the 3 women total, she is the one that came out on top, and she's the one that Ford has chosen to work with.
She's the real deal. I mean, she's a racer. She stands on the gas. She gets in there and dices it with the drivers, and she's not real intimidated. And again, she's done a great job. But as she said earlier, she's learned last year, you know, that this race is a little tougher. She finds herself back in B main.
There's Brian Paulus, the car sponsored by Who Monster. That's something Brian has come up completely with on his own. He's a great self-promoter. In fact, he's made his own coloring book with Remo and Bob Dog. And you can see both Remo and Bob Dog on the car. He's a tremendous self-promoter.
And he drew the whole thing himself, all the illustrations in it. He did it himself.
And he's handing out coloring books and crayons to all the kids here this week. We're back to green with Remo and Red Dog jumping out front.
Boy, again, cars back in the back there, dicing around.
Paulus leads him down the back straightaway. Kinzer with a better start this time. He's still very deep in the field. Swinging around the outside is the 55 of Gary Matson. He holds down the final transfer spot to the A feature, or to the B feature.
And you saw that white puff back there. That's not smoke. That's the white chalk line for the start line that the guys are just driving over top. They'll have that blown off here a little bit. You can kind of see it maybe right there as they go by.
So much action on the track. I was getting a little confused myself. This is the B feature, and we're taking 4 cars out of this. And it's Dennis Moore Jr. over along the wall in turn number 2. While we get Dennis straightened out and myself straightened out so I can figure out which feature I'm in and how many cars I'm moving on, we're going to move on to a commercial break. Stay with us.
Speed Tuesday. From Missouri to Pennsylvania, it's 3 days of awesome parties, fast races, and hot cars. Get into the Nopi lifestyle. All new Nopi Tuner Vision, Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific, only on Speed.
In August, Fox Movie Channel salutes the cinema of international.
Next week on Wind Tunnel, ALMS car owner Dave Mirage, NASCAR star Dave Blaney, the guy who first put Jeff Gordon in a race car. That would be John Bickford, and Sam Posey, the racer turned journalist. We start Monday night at 10 Eastern.
Monday nights on Speed Channel, Fifth Gear breaks the show mold. Brush up on your driving skills, get tips on avoiding speed traps, road test the hottest cars, even get spooked by haunted cars. All on Fifth Gear, Monday nights at 9 Eastern, only on Speed Channel. There's Billy Alley. Terry McCarl down there watching the action on top of his quad, and of course he is the pole sitter for tonight's A-Main, trying to become the first native of Iowa to win the famed Knoxville Nationals.
That's a lot of good Iowa drivers.
They will go crazy here, Brad, if he wins this.
The same people that boo him every week for winning too much is going to think he's going to be their national hero.
There's Dennis Moore Jr. back in the car after suffering 3 fractures in his left leg, 2 ribs, and some cuts on his chin a couple of months back at a quad at Pismo Beach.
having too much fun that day, I think.
He said he was well over 30 feet in the air as we go back to green. One flipping down the backstretch out of turn 2. Coming to a rest, that's Billy Alley. And is that going to be a wild on board?
Just showed him on the...
You heard the crew guys leaning in. You okay, Billy? He's okay.
Trying to get everything unhooked there.
Billy Alley starting to climb out of the car under his own power. Billy Alley is out of the race under his own power, walking away from us.
All right. Good to see he's okay. Now, you ready for this? The onboard stayed on the whole time. You want to know what it's like to flip a sprinter? Hang on. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Did you see with his eyes closed? Wow.
Shows the impact. You think you want to be a sprint car driver? That's when it's not as much fun.
Hang on, here we go again.
Watch the shield go out, open and closed. Hit so hard it flipped the shield open, came back down, hit on the nose, it slammed it shut.
Now in slow motion. Take it through it, bro. Take us through this.
Okay, right here's on the gas. The thing trips over. He's still on the ground. Doing a big wheelie there. Now watch the shield. The impact on the back, it flips open. His glasses are off. Comes back down on the nose. And you can see him squinting there and hanging on as tight as you can. You just wait till it's over with.
And Brad, one of the things we heard was the engine with the high revs going on through there. What was that? Was that the engine, the wheel just spinning away?
Yeah, because he's on the throttle. He's gridded. He's tensed up so much, he's trying to brace himself, and he's literally on the throttle, wide open.
I told you, they're mean, wicked, and nasty. And we got more of them when we come back.
Sound Matters, the Catback Dual System Exhaust. Now available at Meineke for only $350. Meineke, right service, right price.
How do you keep a car from ending up like this? Try Armor. Armor All Protectant. It does more than clean and shine. It protects.
There are no gas grills at the Great Lenexa Barbecue Battle.
No gas.
Why not?
You don't get the flavor with gas. Charcoal is the thing.
Any particular charcoal?
It's Kingsford.
Yeah?
Kingsford.
For the taste.
Yeah, you get a better flavor out of your meat.
Kingsford, because taste is everything.
Enjoy driving again by improving the gas mileage of your car. The Tornado is simple to install and increases your fuel economy. That's something to smile about. For more information, go to tornadoair.com or call 800-500-8880.
In Nevada, all roads lead to adventure, but you still need a guide. Not that guide.
This guide.
Your all-in-one multi-tool for taking on the silver stage, where the possibilities are wide open. Call 1-800-370-2816 right now and get the Nevada Adventure Guide, plus the Nevada Visitor's Guide free.
Awesome. Sunday on Speed. First, F1, the Hungarian Grand Prix live. Then, Grand Am Cup from Mid-Ohio. Later, Speed World Challenge hits the road in Mosport with touring cars and GTs. That's all Sunday on Speed.
That's how you come back to the pit area after what we just saw on the back of a wrecker. Look at how the chassis stayed intact, and we're going to show you how Billy Alley's car got hooked to the back of the wrecker. And let me tell you, the folks at Walt Disney World have never come up with anything like this. Up and over multiple times, flipping through turn 2 went Billy Alley. Here it is from outside. Wow. Vicious.
Those hits are like falling out of a 10-story building on my head. Well, maybe not that far, but it's a hard hit every time that thing hits the ground.
Well, and that's the thing, Brad, as wild as the video is, we cannot feel the impact. So it looks like he just went up over the
He did. He got the left front up on the berm, and the car started around, and he tried to stay on the throttle. Looked like to do a 360, and it wheelied up and tripped over.
There he is, Tony.
Well, Billy, we just saw what you went through on the camera, but tell us from your perspective what happened and what you went through there.
Well, I tried to make a pass on the bottom, and I lost it. You know, I tried to make a pass on the bottom, and it didn't work out for me. You know, I feel bad for all my guys. I put so much hard work into this week, and all they can do is smile and move on. It's tough.
You're okay, though?
Oh, I'm fine. Hutchins and Vice, all the safety equipment, and an awesome safety crew at Knoxville. They were right there. You know, it's just it's a heartbreaker.
On we go with the B feature. It's back underway. Brian Paulus leads it on the bottom in the number 28. 4 cars transferring out of this to tonight's main event in the hopes of winning $125,000 tonight. Here's your battle for 4th. That's Calvin Landis in the red 70 on the bottom. Tim Schaefer upstairs in the Casey's General Ford number 6.
That's for the transfer spot, the final top 4 spot to go on to the A main.
Kinzer's up to 11th, by the way, if you're wondering. Still a long ways away from a transfer to tonight's main event.
Still a lot of laps left, but again, he's going to have some cautions to keep this field backed, bunched up in front of him. You can see him closing on a lot of race cars there, though.
Working the bottom is Steve.
Shane Stewart right in front of him. You see him get a little bit sideways there.
And there's Aaron Crocker in the red 16 and Blake Fees in front. And Steve's going to get around Aaron. Now he's going to go to work on Blake Fees. And Shane Stewart just in front of him in the Ford.
Steve went in the middle of the racetrack there in the slick, kind of slid up the squeeze play a little bit on Aaron Crocker. She had to let him go. See the track slicking off. When you see it getting black and shiny, now right through the middle there, that dark brown, that's still pretty sticky, but the shiny stuff, that's where they'll get a lot of wheel spin.
Kinzer listed in 9th now with 15 to go. He definitely needs a yellow. He's around Shane Stewart and working on Blake Fees. Leader lapping through traffic. There goes Brian Paulus, and he's got challenges coming from Kerry Madsen on the outside. That's a battle for the lead. Kerry Madsen in the 55, the purple car upstairs. Brian Paulus working the bottom.
And you can see Brian Paulus's brake rotors red hot. A lot of these guys use the brakes hard. He's got a left rear brake on this car that they did away with years ago because they didn't like the way it transferred the weight. He's trying it to help drive the car off the corner by riding the brakes. I'm not sure it's working. It's pretty fast right now, but you can see the brakes get red hot by doing that.
Jeff Matrison runs in 3rd, and Tim Schaefer has the final transfer spot right now in 4th. The leaders catching up to Dennis Moore's 0 car. There's Moore up top. Remember, he's still beat up from that quad accident, so Madsen's going to have to look for a quick way around him. He does. Down, sliding across in front of him.
Oh, he's got a run on Paulus. Let's see what happens. Go down into 1 here. But you can see it's really far around.
10 to go. You can see that brake rotor glowing red. Here comes the king. Kinzer's up to 5th. That pass right there on the 21 puts the king in 5th. As he gets around Brian Brown, Steve Kinzer is into 5th, 1 spot away from a transfer.
And he desperately needs a caution now. He needs a caution now to give him enough laps.
Tim Schaefer is just 20, 30 yards in front of him. There's Schaefer on the bottom of the racetrack. In the Casey's General Store, red and white number 6.
There's 8 laps to go. He is closing in on him, but again, a yellow would really help his cause right now. to get him back up a little closer to that spot.
Or if Schaefer gets hung up in traffic with 8 to go, that could open the door as well. And they are buried in traffic. The battle for the transfer, the final spot in tonight's $125,000 to win Knoxville National.
Schaefer getting back away from him a little bit there. There's Schaefer at the bottom of the screen. Did get a little distance between Steve Kinzer.
Jeff Matrison now listed in 4th in the 17. So there's your pass for the transfer. The King has got around him as we see a pass for the lead. There's Matrison in the yellow 17. Kinzer's around him. He's now up to 4th as Schaefer had gotten around Matrison. So Schaefer's up to 3rd. We've had a change for the lead. Steve Kinzer's going on to the 8th. He can hang on for 5 more laps.
Racing all over the place, as you said, as the leaders go by. Steve Kinzer's making it out. He can go down the back straightaway and read the scoreboard. He should know exactly where he's at.
And the lead has changed again. Brian Paulus back out in front as a 55. And Madsen slips back to 2nd. That's the purple car. And Paulus now pulling away. There's your 3rd place car. And the King still closing in on him. And Brady's running up top and he's running on the bottom. And he's now able to work both parts of the racetrack, and that's very important going into the A feature tonight.
Ooh, he's kind of stuck in the middle there. He's going to... Madsen, Kerry Madsen, the 2nd place car in the wall.
Kerry Madsen in the 55. He had taken the lead, lost it. He must have had something going wrong with the car, maybe a tire going down.
Yeah, look at the right rear corner of the car down. That might be exactly what happened, and that might be why he slowed enough that Brian Paulus got back by.
That'll also, that shot right there gives you a good indication of just how big that cushion has gotten. Look how that car is almost, you know, like high-sided up on there.
Yeah, look right in front of the left rear tire. Look at the buildup of dirt. That's all loose dirt up there. That's that cushion.
It's deep. Look at that shot. Let's go for more on Madsen. Tony.
Well, Ralph and Brad, about 3 laps ago when Kerry Madsen came off turn 4, he really creamed the front straightaway fence. So possibly something coming apart on that car, and that's causing him to get into the turn 4 fence.
All right, we saw Cameron Dodson earlier hit the wall in front straightaway. We saw his tire go down. We talked about how thin these tires are. Doesn't take much contact with that wall to tear it open.
According to our unofficial scoring now, we would have Paulus in the lead. Schaefer moves up to 2nd. Steve Kinzer moves to 3rd. And Brian Brown should be listed in 4th in the final transfer to the A main. Let's see if we can, you know, here's a pass on Matrison. That's Matrison in the yellow 17. And look at Steve Kinzer on the bottom.
That is the 4th spot. He goes in there. And he is, as you said, he's working all over the racetrack. He is one of the best at moving all over the racetrack, trying to find what that race car likes, where it is the fastest. And he's always thinking ahead.
Brad, he's got a fast race car.
Yes, he does.
He keeps telling us he's not sure he does. He's got a fast race car.
Well, you heard him say the racetrack was too fast in that interview, and he not saying he had given up, but he was a little disappointed. The racetrack is slicking off, and you're seeing a lot more passing going on than I think he figured.
All right, here's what happened. There's Madsen going up into the wall. Whatever was wrong was obviously already had happened.
Yeah, if he pounded the wall, it could have broke a suspension part, or again, tore the right rear tire to where it was going flat, and you can see him there get into the wall.
Steve Kinzer has come from the back of the B feature through the C feature to the back of the B feature, all the way through that to a transfer spot sitting 3rd and looking to go to the A feature.
We knew it was going to be fun watching him come back up through this B main. If he could just hold on here, it would be fun to see him go to the A.
Tony.
Well, as you can see there, guys, the right rear tire is completely shredded off of that car. So when he got into that front straightaway fence, could have cut it, put a slice in it to start let it leaking down, and that's what got him into the fence. The Nerf bar is wrapped underneath the header, so they're trying to pry all that stuff out of the way as well and make sure they have no further damage.
Time of the essence, and he's running out of it.
When he's talking about the Nerf bar, it's right in front of the tire. A lot of times when that tire shreds, it grabs the Nerf bar and rips it off. I don't know whether that happened or when he jumped that cushion, got over the heavy dirt you talked about, grabbed the Nerf bar and pulled it down underneath the car that got it off there. The Nerf bar is just a series of bars on the right side to help keep cars from making contact and smashing the headers, that kind of thing. But as long as the rear suspension is okay, the Jacobs ladder's not bent or the rear axle's not bent, they might get back out here. But there's only 2 laps to go. Realistically, the chances of transferring or getting up in there pretty slim.
Now you're just racing for money. Each weight position is going to pay a little bit more than the one behind you.
And pride. Racing for pride.
Dave Argebright.
Well, Tim Kading, your grandpa Howard was a great racer. Your dad Brent Kading's a great racer out west. Your brother Bud's good in USAC, but you're the first Kading to make the A-main here at Knoxville. I think that gives you first choice of the turkey leg Thanksgiving time, don't you?
Yeah, just a little bit. You know, my family's been racing a long time, and they come back here and struggle a little bit until this year. You know, we picked up our A game with Dennis and Treese Roth and Roth Motorsports 83 Junior, and it's a blast. This year's been a good year for us. We won the last 2 shows. I don't know if we're going to be able to get up in front, but we're going to sure make a run at it tonight.
You were talking earlier about this racetrack is really conducive to a guy coming from the back. Is that what you think we may see here in this A-main?
Hey, if Steve can do it from the alphabet soup, hopefully we can do it from the back of the pack. We can hopefully latch on to him and just go forward. But, you know, there's a lot of good cars out here tonight. And just want to thank all the fans for coming out here and supporting us all year long.
First A-main, butterflies?
Oh, yeah, they're already starting to kick in now after this interview.
Well, you know, don't forget, you got that camera on board. We can only afford to lose one of those a night.
Hopefully I don't get caught picking my nose or something under yellow.
We'll go back to racing in a minute. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, he's going to be fun to watch later tonight, Tim Kading. There is the Ford car of Shane Stewart. Started 16th, up to 5th, 1 spot out of a transfer to the A-main. He's got to get around Brian Brown.
And we can see anything can happen with Kerry Madsen going out. You know, you just, at this point, sometimes you just hang in there and hope that something happens. Things go your way. With 2 laps to go. Saw Sammy Swindell run out of fuel before. Maybe one of these guys out didn't guess right on fuel, and something can happen to them.
Here we go. Back to green. Oh, Kinzer spins it up through the middle, and Brian Brown gets to the inside, and that could cost Steve a position. It does for now. Brian Brown in the 21 catches him, and then the King comes right back around the outside.
Boy, you don't see Steve Kinzer make a mistake very often. He did get it home. His car's getting loose. It looks like he can't stay on the bottom. There he goes all the way across to the cushion, but he is able to get back by Brian Brown. Brian left him just enough room to turn forward.
And Shane Stewart has gotten around Brian Brown, so that's going to be for the final transfer. Checkered flag falls, and Shane Stewart's going to get the final transfer spot. It's going to be the machine of Paulus, the 28, then Schaefer, Steve Kinzer, and Shane Stewart. Just missing a trip to the A-main tonight, and the main event at the Knoxville Nationals will be Brian Brown.
You got to wonder if Brian got to racing with Steve there a little bit, started missing his marks, missing his spot, and Shane Stewart was able to get in there and steal that final transfer spot.
Tough break for Brian, there's Brian Brown, who had a shot. Brownie, done for this year. Stay with us, getting closer. The field is set. $125,000 on the line. The Knoxville National A-main coming up.
Wind tunnel, ALMS car owner Dave Mirage, NASCAR star Dave Blaney, the guy who first put Jeff Gordon in a race car. That would be John Bickford, and Sam Posey, the racer turned journalist. We start Monday night at 10 Eastern.
Hey, Greg White here on the next Two Wheel Tuesday, educating troubled teens using motorcycle engines and the 411 on motocross riding gear technology. That's Two Wheel Tuesday, 8 Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on Speed.
What's up with this thing? Somebody left it on. Really?
Welcome back to Knoxville, getting closer to tonight's A-main at the 44th Annual Knoxville Nationals. Here's a look at the results from the B feature. Brian Paulus takes the win. Tim Schaefer, the King, Steve Kinzer, and Shane Stewart all transfer. And Brian Brown, comes up 1 spot short. These drivers are all done tonight, but Aaron Crocker, who was in the A feature last year, finishes 9th. Calvin Landis lives here nearby Knoxville, loves this racetrack so much he comes out here during the week, 2-3 times during the week, and just walks this turn. He'll come out next week and walk it knowing he finished 10th in the B feature in a good night. Tony Bachhoven's with the King.
Well, Steve, you're cleaning off the visor. You're on your way to the next main event.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I didn't figure we'd get through there, but we did. That's all that matters. It's, I don't know. We'll just see what we can get. That's all I can say.
Was the car getting loose there toward the end of the race?
Yeah, I just killed the tires trying to get up through there, and after that last yellow, wouldn't even take back off. I mean, I punished it so bad, I just burn them off.
We'll get out of your way. The king is in the A-main.
What Steve's talking about, killing the tires there when you start sliding across the black part of the racetrack, running the car sideways or stand on the throttle, you overheat the tires. And when you overheat the tires, the traction goes away. And that's what he meant by when he said he killed the tires. He just overheated them. But hey, he made it in the main event, and that's all that mattered. Didn't matter if those tires were killed or not.
There he is, Terry McCarl, trying to become the first driver from Iowa to win the biggest sprint car race in the world. It just happens to take place in his hometown here, Knoxville, Iowa. Terry McCarl, the man that will start on the pole. Dave Argabright earlier this week took a look at the man who's trying to make history tonight.
Terry McCarl, take me back to childhood here. Did you ever envision 6 straight Knoxville titles?
Well, no, I didn't know if I'd even be a race car driver, so I certainly didn't envision that. And it's kind of nice to see my name up there with a lot of the heroes I had when I was a kid. And, you know, Jerry Blendy and Joe Saldana and guys like that were really fast. To be honest with you, I guess in my heart, people probably don't believe it, but I'm just a huge fan, and I really don't think of myself as a race car driver that often. It's something I do. And
obviously, this is the biggest sprint car race in the world. But as a local guy, what would that mean to you, an Iowa boy, to win this thing?
Well, no Iowa person's ever won. There's never been an Iowa driver win the race, so that's kind of crazy, I think, over the years. But you know, it's a dream come true. I've said it to you before that, you know, when I was a little boy, I used to say my prayers at night and pray that my dad would win this thing, and maybe my boys did the same thing. I don't know, but any sprint car driver, this is the biggest race there is, and you always want to win the biggest.
You know, you've got a legion of very loyal fans that really back you. But you've also got people that enjoy the opportunity to boo you. What is it about your career that has incited so much good and maybe difficult feelings for people?
Well, I don't know. I think that I'm maybe not quite like Jack Hewitt or my dad, Leonard McCarl, but I'm kind of middle of the road. I'm not afraid to speak my mind and tell people what I feel, and I'm pretty opinionated, and you know, I understand how the world works politically, and I own my own team, which is bad and good. I get to call my own shots, but you know, I got to pay all the bills. So Danny Lasowski and those guys are the king of being political, and I'm not, and so that rubs people the wrong way sometimes. And you know, if they don't like me for that, then that's tough. You know, a lot of the places we're fortunate enough to win a lot of races too, and just like Jeff Gordon, anybody wins a lot, some people boo and they want to see different winners, and I understand that. You know, but it gets pretty brutal sometimes. But you know, if somebody has to be the bad guy, you know, I don't mind it. And to the kids or anybody else, I treat everybody the best I can, and I've never shunned anybody for an autograph, generally, stuff like that. So I'm just the person I am, and if you don't like it, that's just the way it's going to be, I guess.
What's your outlook for this weekend? Obviously, you want to win. What's a realistic level of success for a Des Moines guy here this weekend?
Well, I think realistically we got a good shot at winning, but you know, I've been getting stronger every year with my team, slowly but surely, with big game tree stands and country builders coming on, and we've got a lot of good sponsors that have helped us. And you know, we don't have the one big Quaker State deal. We've got a bunch of smaller sponsors, and we work real hard at our product things. But you know, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of luck, but I think we have it. I've been real fast lately. We've won a lot of races for a lot of years now, and I think I know how to win. And, you know, mentally you think you're going to win, or you always say you're going to win, a lot of these young guys, but I think in your heart you don't believe it. And I'm to the point now I do believe it. I know we can. And if it gets down to the last few laps and, you know, we're running top 3, they better look out, because we're going to be right there.
One thing about Terry McCarl is he was telling us the truth. He will sign autographs for everybody. He told me earlier this week he loves to relax on a big, tough night like today by just getting down there with the fans and hanging out and signing autographs, and that's what he did all afternoon down below the grandstand.
And he looks pretty relaxed right now, doesn't he?
Boy, they're going to go crazy if he can pull it off. It's going to be a wild night here at Knoxville. Stay with us. Welcome back to the 44th annual Knoxville Nationals, presented by the Midwest Ford Dealers. We are getting set for the A main event. $125,000 up for grabs, and 24 of the greatest sprint car pilots in the world set to battle it out for the biggest prize in sprint car racing, that beautiful 5-foot trophy. We're going to do this old school style tonight. We've got some of the field on the front stretch, some on the back, and we're going to introduce every single one of the drivers tonight. Starting 24th from Bixby, Oklahoma, a driver who got his first Outlaw win this year, the driver of the 4M, Shane Stewart. Starting 23rd tonight, 5 508 World of Outlaw wins, 18 Outlaw titles, 12 Knoxville wins. From Bloomington, Indiana, they call him the King, Steve Kinzer. Starting 22nd tonight, they call this driver the Steel City Outlaw. From Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, behind the wheel of car number 6, Tim Schaefer. Starting 21st tonight, the winner of tonight's B main event from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, the driver of car 28, Brian Paulus. Starting 20th tonight, the 19-year-old son of the King, soon to be crowned the 2004 World of Outlaw Rookie of the Year, driver of the 11K, Craig Kinzer. Starting 19th tonight, the Hurricane from San Jose, California, Randy Hannigan in the 1X. Rolling off 18th tonight, from Canton, South Dakota, the driver of car 1W, the 2002 Huset's Track Champion, Chad Meyer in the 1NW. Beginning his night in 17th, the son of the legendary California driver Brent Kading, the 2002 King of California and Wednesday night's preliminary night winner from San Jose, California, the driver of the 83 JR, Tim Kading. In 16th tonight, a feature winner at Knoxville Raceway's weekly show this summer from Ankeny, Iowa, car number 1J, Brent Antill. From Memphis, Tennessee is where the driver who will begin tonight in 15th place hails. He's one of the top drivers on the Pennsylvania Tour. He finished 5th here last year at the Knoxville Nationals in car number 12, Greg Hotnick. From Upper Cove, Maryland comes a driver who is back from a 2-month layoff to reignite his winning ways, picking up wins in his first nights back just a week ago. Car number 8, Jeff Shepard, beginning tonight 14th. In 13th tonight, a former IMCA modified champion from nearby Oskaloosa, Iowa, in the V10, John Vandenberg. In 12th tonight, a recent winner of the $50,000 to win Kings Royal at the famed Eldora Speedway from Ellendale, Tennessee, Jason Sides. Starting 11th. Starting the A main at Knoxville for the second time in his career. He is second in Knoxville Raceway track points from Mustang, Oklahoma. The 14AJ, Wayne Johnson. Moving up to the next row on the outside in 10th. Back at Knoxville after missing last year's Nationals due to injuries, a 4-time winner on the Outlaw Tour this year from Elk River, Minnesota, Craig Dolansky in the 7th. He's a 2-time World of Outlaw champ and a 3-time Knoxville Nationals champion from Oolitic, Indiana, Mark Kinzer in the 83. Starting 8th. He's the current points leader at 4 of the toughest tracks in Pennsylvania. Williams Grove, Lincoln, Susquehanna, and Selinsgrove. They call him Fast Freddy. From Salfordville, Pennsylvania, Fast Freddy Rammer in the 88H. Starting 7th. A winner of one of last year's non-wing World Championship rounds from Warsaw, Missouri, the Rocket, Jesse Hockett in the 75. Now to the top 3 rows, starting on the outside. He was third in the 2004 World of Outlaw points, and he finished second in 3 of the last 4 Knoxville Nationals. From Fargo, North Dakota, driver of car number 15, Donnie Schatz.
Donnie, you've been second 3 times. Is tonight when you get number 1?
I hope so. We'll be able to tail in 30 laps here.
Get your elbows up and let's see if you can get your first win.
Let's hope so.
Donnie Schatz.
To the inside now of row number 3. Fourth in the current World of Outlaw points with 4 wins this season. From Clovis, California, car number 14's Jason Myers. To the outside of row number 2. He's a 3-time Knoxville Nationals champion. He's a former World of Outlaw champion and the winningest driver in the history of the Knoxville Raceway with 83 victories. They call him the Dude. From Dover, Missouri, Danny Lasoski.
Dude, you're stoked and they're all saying dude. Are you gonna get your next one tonight?
We're going for it wide open, guys.
That's the Dude.
To the inside of row number 2. He's a 2-time All-Stars champion and the current All-Stars points leader. From Findlay, Ohio, the 15K, Chad Kavanaugh. To the front row at the Knoxville Nationals. In the 22J, the 4-time All-Stars champion returns to better his 3rd place finish of last year here in the Nationals. They call him Mouse. From Holmesville, Ohio, Kenny Jacobs in the 22J.
Kenny, you about got one last year. Are you ready to get your first one this year?
Well, I sure hope so, because I don't have a lot more left in me.
You're on the outside of the front row. Tonight's the night.
I'm as good a position as I can be in. I just got to not make any mistakes. I have a fast race car, and hopefully we'll be staying here talking the end of this deal.
Kenny Jacobs.
On the pole tonight for the Knoxville Nationals, the 6-time Knoxville Raceway track champion. He'll start from the pole for the first time here at the Nationals. He's by far the sentimental favorite here tonight. From nearby Altoona, Iowa, T-Mac, Terry McCarl.
You said when you were a little boy, this is the one you wanted to win. You're on the pole tonight.
Well, we just got to keep them all behind us. We don't worry about passing them, but a lot of tough guys behind us, and it's we get the car right, might have a chance to win it, but we'll see. It's in God's hands. Hope for a safe race.
You've won this race, or the championship 6 times here. You've got a lot of laps here. Can you do it?
Yeah, we can do it, and we're going to dedicate it to all those boo-birds up there.
Terry McCarl!
Ah, yes, here we go. 24 of the best drivers in the world strapping into the meanest, nastiest race cars on the planet, the Knoxville Nationals. Coming up right after this. Told me earlier this week that every single race that you race when you're not here at the Knoxville Nationals is just another race getting ready for the Knoxville Nationals. There sits Terry McCarl's number 24. The King is strapped in, getting ready to go. Can he win it from the back for his 13th time? Could Jason Myers or Craig Delansky sitting right there win their first? The 44th annual Knoxville Nationals, just moments away. Don't go anywhere. Looks like you got a fan, Doty. What does that say? Brad Doty is, let me say it for you, a hottie.
You know how long it took me to make that sign?
I can only imagine. That would be Grandpa Hottie here soon. Pawpaw Hottie.
Thank you to whoever that is. I appreciate that.
Jesse the Rocket's got some fans. Jesse Hockett. Car 75 out there ready to go.
And there are fans everywhere. This is
they
just
are everywhere around this racetrack.
Packed.
There are the Queen. There is the Queen and her court. Kara Drought is this year's Queen. That's Dawn Drought, a sprint car racer's niece. And the court includes Katie Schrader and Tina Marie Church, who just happens to be Jesse Hockett's girlfriend. They are ready to go as well. Here's your 8-feature starting grid. We'll let you just read it yourselves. This time we just did the big introductions. Terry McCall, Kenny Jacobs getting it started as we roll through those. Brad, what do you think these guys need to do now as we get set for the 8-feature? What are the keys?
Just go fast. Just smash that throttle. They got to have to try to hit their lines, hit their marks. The way the racetrack is, it's good in spots, it's slick in spots. You heard Steve Kinder talking about killing his tires. They got to be careful there and not overheat those tires. Try to run the car as straight as possible and bring it home in 30 laps.
We know how tough he is to begin with. How much of an advantage does he have knowing what the racetrack just did in the meet feature?
Well, he'll have a little advantage, but that all goes away from where he's starting. You know, all those advantages, what the track's doing, maybe a little more guessing on what tires to run and things like that, where the line might have been early. But again, these guys up front, they're all professionals. They've all been around this racetrack, and they know what to do also.
Tim Katie carrying one of the onboards for us. Let's talk about the rivalry up front. Terry McCarl, Danny Lasowski, they know this racetrack incredibly well. Danny's won this event 3 times. Terry looking for his first. How big of a play is that rivalry going to be? Can they block that out of their mind and just go racing?
Well, they're going to have to parallel, as we said, Danny Lasowski is 7-time champion, and Terry McCarl 6 straight championships now, so they both know the way around this racetrack. And maybe there's a little professional competition there, you know, that I mean, between just the track champions here. Danny at the World of Outlaws level, Terry still here running Knoxville, doing a heck of a job. But it would really be important to him to win this Nationals and kind of prove to the world that he's as good as these guys.
Terry told me, not only do I want to win it, but I want to make sure Danny finishes second. Donnie Schatz, 3 out of the last 4 years, Brad, he finished second. I asked him, does this place owe you one? He said, no. I'm thrilled to be able to say I finished second here 3 times. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but, you know, he obviously wants to win this thing, and he's been so close so many times. I know the fans that follow this sport and follow this race know what has happened to him, and I think it'd be a huge round of applause if he won this thing, knowing what he's been through and the big crash he took the night he spent in the hospital, that kind of thing. So, you know, let's see what happens here at the end of 30 laps.
The 4-wide salute to the fans. Now, this place is going to go crazy as they come by the front straightaway. The lights will be flicking on and off, and the suites around the racetrack, and the flash bulbs will be a-popping.
And you know, as a driver sitting in that car, you see those lights flashing, you see the flash bulbs going off, the adrenaline, the heart rate, everything right now.
Look at that crowd. The lights going. The 4-wide salute to the fans, and the fans giving it back to the drivers as they get set to race for the most important trophy in the world of sprint car racing.
When they drop that green flag, though, that's when the guys kind of calm down. The drivers, they're in their element there. They know what they have to do, and they can do their job.
Quickly, some predictions. Dave Argabright?
Well, Ralph, it's probably folly to bet against Danny Lasowski in this situation because he's just gold here at the Nationals. But 40% of the time, this race is won from the pole position. Tonight, I think it's going to be Terry McCarl. Tony Bachhoven?
I got to go with you, Dave. He's won the track championship 6 times. I'm picking my old buddy, Terry McCarl.
Well, obviously, anybody that knows me knows Kenny Jacobs and I started racing together, Lakeville area. I hope, you know, I'd like to see Kenny pull this thing off.
It's as wide open as I've seen it in a long time. There's Kenny Jacobs with the onboard. Of course, safe money tells you to bet on Danny winning it 3 times and being as strong as he is. Terry McCarl certainly the sentimental favorite. And Kenny Jacobs, there's a whole bunch of people back in Ohio saying, no, 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 no. That's the sentimental favorite right there.
See him looking around, looked like he pulled the wing back. He glanced up at the wing to see where it was at on the race car. Had the shield off there, but wow.
Boy, you know, you look at this field, even Donnie Schatz sitting back there in the inside of the 3rd row, or the outside of the 3rd row, as strong as he is. It'll be 30 laps, 24 cars, 125 grand to the winner.
We've seen so much happen yesterday. The crash with Donnie Schatz on the 1st lap when he peeled the tire off. We've seen guys run out of fuel. We've seen cars crashing. The leaders get in trouble, blowing engines. Again, it's so hard to predict. It's racing. You got a machine involved, all the mechanical things. We see things that happen. Steve Kinder there rolling around. He's got to hope that a lot of these guys have trouble up front, hope for a lot of cautions, maybe some reds where they can adjust that race car if they need to, make chassis adjustments, let Scott Gerken work on it. Everything has to fall into their lap to have a chance at this thing.
It's been a long week and a long year, and it all comes down to the next 30 laps. Here we go. The Knoxville A-Main going green. Here we come out of turn 4 at speed. Terry McCarl leads him off of turn 4. Kavanaugh is second. Lasowski moves to third. Kenny Jacobs drops back to fourth on the high side. On board, Kenny Jacobs.
What Kenny has to do is not panic. Not panic that he's falling back.
Oh, we got a flipper in turn 2. Randy Hannigan in the 1X upside down. The Hurricanes' night comes to a violent end in turn 2. We saw Randy moving around in there.
At this point, he's okay. They want him to just turn the car back over, probably to get him, get him out. The car doesn't really look that bad. The wings torn off, obviously, took some pretty hard hits, but whenever the wheels are still somewhat intact, that's a good sign that maybe they could get this car patched back up and get him back out.
Goes the top wing. Let's see the replay here of what we got. There he is, made contact with another car.
He got it pinched on the berm there, got up on that berm, and similar to what we saw with Billy Alley a while ago. Gets up on the right rear, trips over that right rear, and that's what happens.
The racetrack is red. As we said earlier, when a car flips, that's the automatic. There's your leader from the pole. And Lori McCarl applauding the fact that Randy is okay. Anxious, however, can her husband Terry do what no man has done before? The first Iowa to maybe win the Nationals.
Hi, I'm Terry McCarl.
We are back here at the Knoxville Nationals. A lot of big names have been here throughout the week, including the reigning Indy 500 champion, Buddy Rice, was here checking things out, meeting some of the drivers, and maybe dreaming of racing some dirt. Brad, what do you think?
I don't know. Talking to Aaron Crocker there, and I think he enjoyed himself while he was here.
Got to know the race queens. Got to watch some racing on Thursday night. It's a good night to be out here, too. Buddy was right down along the fence line. He's got a big IRL race this weekend. Said he loved it. If he got a chance, maybe get the chance to come back and check it out. He was certainly impressed.
Buddy Rice, you've had an opportunity now to see some hot laps here at Knoxville Raceway. What do you think?
It's pretty impressive standing down here on the entry to 3. Listen to how far they drive it in and working on that bottom groove right now. But this should be a pretty impressive night. It's a beautiful night down here in Iowa, so it should be exciting.
You love Indy cars. I know you love hot rods. What about sprint cars? We ever going to see you maybe slide that bottom down in one time?
I don't know about that. I don't think BR will let that happen, but we'll definitely take it in here. And when they come out to Phoenix down and run at Manzanita Speedway, I'll be out there to check it out as well.
What about this facility at Knoxville Raceway? It's widely regarded as the finest facility in all of sprint car racing. Was it what you expected coming in here?
Well, as you're coming down the small road, obviously I've never been here before, so it's very similar to coming into to the Speedway at Indy. You get all the people camped outside, here for the big weekend, and it's really exciting. I mean, you can feel the excitement as you're coming down, just like you would at Indy. So I think there's a lot of stands here, and we're going to be able to take in the whole night.
Now, I've got to caution you, Knoxville's also known, beyond the great racing, the great parties that go on after the race, and you're going to stick around, I assume.
I'm going to hang out. I can't do too much partying. I got a race to fly off to here. I got a Kentucky round coming up this weekend, starting tomorrow, so I'll be able to check out the festivities, but I can't hang out too long.
The best part about it, he's got dirt all over his shoes here at Knoxville Raceway.
Buddy Rice having some fun here. Terry McCarl having a lot of fun leading the A-Main right now. Tony Bacco.
Lori, this is the race you and Terry have worked so hard for. What are you feeling right now?
I'm really happy and sick.
Are you going to make it 29 more laps?
I don't know. That first one was hard. I don't know if I'll make it.
We'll stand here and watch him with you.
If he can do it, I can do it.
You heard it from her.
Her father-in-law, Leonard, was a great racer. Terry's dad, their eldest son, Austin, who is 11 years old, hangs out on the second floor of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum and flags the races from over there. It's an entire racing family.
Sometimes I think
you can see Austin up in the corner. See him up there,
with the
waving the flags moving around? That's Terry's son, Austin, up there, moving his arm up and down, saying, come on, Dad. There he is. Get him lined up, fellas. We're ready to go green.
Sometimes it's worse for the family members, especially the wives, to have to sit and watch. They have no control over what's going to happen out there.
Boy, is Austin going to have fun waving that checker if his dad's out front. Doug Clark's waving the green, and we're racing again. Speed carried down into turn 3. Kavanaugh slides wide. The dude's up to second. Danny Lasowski has second place, and the rivalry is on. Terry McCarl, the leader of the Knoxville Nationals, desperately hoping to win the race he's dreamed of. And the man he has the biggest rivalry with in his sport is the guy that runs in second. The dude, Danny Lasowski, a 3-time winner here. McCarl, a 6. Oh, the king is around. And he's come to a stop in turn 3. Steve Kinzer is around. He had worked his way up to 19th after starting 23rd. What a night he's had, Brad. Good and bad.
Boy, that's the bad right there, but he wasn't really too far up yet. Let's see what happens here. Looks like it's going into turn 3. Oh, he gets
contact with Schaefer.
Well, I don't know if they made contact, but he had to pinch the car. It looked like to keep from making contact was right in the slick part of the racetrack. Oh, his son Craig Kinzer just squeezing by on the outside. Wow, that was close. But Steve tried to keep it running there. But I don't know if contact was made, but he was in the loose part of the racetrack and looped it.
Well, you can see as he was spinning that car around, he had his foot just buried to the floor, didn't he? That big right rear just spinning around, screaming for traction.
Two things there. He was trying to keep the car going to maybe not have to stop to go completely to the tail, and also to try to keep that car. If you're going to get hit, you want to get the car spun around and get hit from behind, not in the side. So he was trying his best to either keep it running just to get out of the way or try not to have to go to the tail.
You saw Tim Schaefer's Casey's General Stores, number 6, and Quaker State 11 is rolling again. Steve Kinzer.
Only got 3 laps in, and he's kind of back to where he started. I was talking about Kenny Jacobs. You know, he's not wanting to panic. He is losing some ground. He's falling back quite a bit, especially if the race car's tight. The track is going to get looser and slicker, and a tight race car usually works better at the end, but boy, he can't afford to fall back too much further.
He's back to 6th after starting 2nd.
Boy, and that's a heartbreaker. That's so, as a driver, it's so disappointing to be falling back through. And I don't know if he has a lot of drivers have cockpit adjustable shocks, weight adjusters. They can adjust that car as they're racing and try to make it better.
Tim Kading is moving up through the field. He's up to 13th after starting way back. There is the 83 car of Tim Kading, the Beef Packers car, Dennis, Teresa Roth. There's your top 5. Jason Myers doing a good job of hanging on at 4th. Here we go, back to green, and McCarl and Lasowski are at it again. Danny to the bottom. The dude puts the slide job on McCarl, but Terry comes right back to the inside. Oh, this is going to be good. McCarl with a great power drive down the back straightaway, reclaims the lead. Kavanaugh on the bottom, 3 wide coming off of turn number 4. Kavanaugh takes 2nd away from Lasowski. Maybe the lead. Kavanaugh coming off of 2, gets to drive and the lead.
Kavanaugh, defending All-Stars champion, his brother Brian. Oh, he gets a little sideways right there. Missed the bottom. Got the car sideways.
When you say he missed the bottom, he missed the sweet spot where the traction was.
Yeah, that sweet spot's gonna get narrower and narrower too as the race goes on. He just missed it by a little bit, and the car really got sideways on him there.
Lasowski continues to work up top as McCarl pulls away. Kavanaugh's on the bottom. Lori's losing her mind. Kavanaugh slide jobs Lasowski, hangs on to 2nd. We're used to seeing Danny running the bottom. His nickname from his car owner, Tony Stewart of Nextel Cup fame, says, hey, we'll call him Catfish because he's a bottom dweller, but Danny goes where you have to go where the others aren't.
He's kind of proven a point that he can run the top and the bottom, but yeah, he likes the bottom here at Knoxville, but obviously Kavanaugh down there, he couldn't go down there. Now Kavanaugh changes his line, goes to the top, but does leave that open, wide open bottom for Danny Lasowski.
One thing that's happening while these two are battling for 2nd, Terry McCarl's pulling away.
It's the best thing that McCarl can hope for is Danny to get caught back here racing people. Lasowski good at 2-footing, and that means riding the brake pedal and using the throttle at the same time. To run the bottom like that, you got to ride that brake pedal to keep the car turned and be easy on and off the throttle pedal.
Jason Myers riding the rim up along the top side of the cushion in the 14. Oh, we got one off. The 1W is going to bring out a yellow, and that is horrible news for Terry McCarl, because as Chad Meyer comes to a stop, Daniel Lasowski gets to line right up back behind the 24. Hang in there, Lori. We're going green when we come back.
Next.
We're back, getting ready to go back to green. Here's your top 5. Only 8 of the 30 laps are completed, and we're racing once again. McCarl and Lasowski 1 and 2. Chad Kavanaugh, the blue 15, runs in 3rd. Jason Myers is 4th. And Donnie Schatz gets him in the mix in the yellow 15 on the bottom for 5th. Lasowski challenges, coming off of 4th. Can't get it done yet, Brad.
Boy, a lot of wheel spin down the front straightaway. Had a really big run on McCarl. But you can see that McCarl stretched out. Daniel Lasowski's loose off of turn 4. But I noticed McCarl did a really different line on that restart. He went into the middle of 1 and 2 and slid up across. He hadn't done that before. He was either on the top or on the bottom. And the longer he runs so far, the better he is. I mean, look at him stretching that lead out. Could be the longest 30 laps that this guy's ever raced.
Terry McCarl's big game back, number 24, looking very strong here tonight. J.D. Biderider, number 20 of Lasowski, with 20 laps to go, 10 laps down. And guess who's coming through the pack? Steve Kinzer, working his way through. He's back up to 15th again. Closing in on John Vandenberg's number V10.
Bertie Merler, everything's kind of going to be a bonus from here on out. You know, you really didn't expect to be here, and he's in the A main, so just getting to run the A main, bonus for him.
On board, Tim Katie. Let's just ride and listen. As he moved to the bottom, and you could hear the engine changing note as he got on and off the gas because he switched down to the bottom lane.
Yeah, get the car sideways, or when you're on that cushion, you got to really get on that throttle hard and lay that right rear tire right into that heavy cushion. If you miss it by a little bit, you got to get off that throttle and let the tires catch up.
Greg Hodden is pulled to the infield. He's done for the night. Katie continues to run around in 13th. John Vandenberg is 14th as we reach the halfway point. Yellow flag coming out for an incident on the racetrack. Off of the back straightaway, turn number 3 is where we find Brent Antill. The 1J has come to a rest. McCarl can't really catch a good break, Brett. Just when he starts to stretch things out, a yellow closes it back up, and no lap cars between him and Lasowski.
Well, it could be good and it could be bad. The good part of it is it keeps him out of lap traffic. But the bad thing is, it obviously puts Danny Lasowski right on his back bumper. But so far, he's been able to hold him off. But boy, any little mistake at all, if he misses the cushion or anything and gets a little sideways, Lasowski can pounce on him.
Tony, how's Lori holding up?
Well, let's ask her. Lori, we're halfway. How you doing?
I'm doing better than I was a few laps ago.
With all these cautions, are you think you're going to be able to hold on?
I don't know. Another 15 laps in Knoxville. We've done this before. Just going to try to do it again.
Just another night at Knoxville, she says. Let's go back upstairs.
Brad, I guarantee you, she's not nervous about that $125,000 check. She knows what that trophy means to Terry.
Absolutely. She's not thinking about that at all. She knows how important this is to her husband. 6-time champion, but to win the Knoxville Nationals, to have that be the first Iowan to get it done, just incredible pressure.
And it would be as an owner-driver, too. Terry owns his own equipment. There's Danny Lasowski's number 20. Tony Stewart, the former NASCAR Cup champion, the owner of that car. There's Jason Meyer sitting in 3rd, the 14. Behind him, Craig Delansky has moved up to 4th, and Chad Kavanaugh sits in 5th. We're back to great. Good jump by McCarl.
Talk talked about Delansky. He started 10th, so he is on the move, moving up to Donnie Schatz.
Schatz is around. We're yellow again. Schatz was sitting in about 6th.
And that is not what Terry McCarl wanted to see with that restart that he had. Of course, he doesn't know that. Again, no rear view mirrors in these cars, no radio contact. He didn't know really how big a jump he got. It was huge.
Donnie Schatz, 3 out of the last 4 years, 2nd here at the Nationals. Now he's going to the back of the line.
Let's see if we can see what happens. Oh, it looks like he just lost it.
Maybe just spun the tires up?
Slick part of the racetrack. There's a couple, two or three 360s there. Looks like he just did the slick part of the racetrack, maybe slid off the bottom. Lost control.
And so the top 5's going to be pretty much the same because Donnie was sitting in 6th. Carl, Lasowski, Myers, Delansky, and Chad Kemenow. Kenny Jacobs has dropped all the way back to 8th after starting 2nd. Show you some of the other cars that we're talking about. Craig Delansky having a good night with the brand new Hawaiian Tropic sponsorship on the car. Craig runs in 7th. There it is right there, the black car with the yellow wing running in 4th. Car number 7, Craig Delansky. Hoping to maybe keep that Hawaiian Tropic sticker on the car for a while. Chad Kemenow. And right there, the 83, the Beef Packers car, Mark Kinzer sits in 7th. He might not be done yet. And then Kenny Jacobs is in the 22J. Wayne Johnson and Jeff Shepard round out the top 10. Freddie Raymer's in 11th. Jesse Hawkins in 12th. Steve Kinzer's up to 13th. Tim Kading's in 14th. John Vandenberg 15th. Timmy Schaefer 16th. Craig Kinzer 17th. Jason Sides is 18th. Brian Paulus 19th. Shane Stewart 20th. And the last 4 is Brent Antill, Chad Meyer, Craig Hodnett, and Randy Hannigan, who crashed out early. That's your field. Back to green. Not as good of a start this time for Terry McCarl, the leader.
Boy, not at all. Let's see if Lasowski gets enough run to get up in front of him.
Oh, sliding out to him. Just can't get there. McCarl fends off a big attack.
But he went into the bottom there, trying to maybe block Danny and slid clear across the racetrack and left it open.
Lasowski takes the lead, but for how long as McCarl slide jobs it back and Danny cuts it down? Oh, this war is raging on with this rivalry. Boy, what a battle these two are going to have. And that is not the view Terry McCarl wanted to have here tonight of Danny Lasowski out in front of him.
Again, he had such a good restart before that he was driving away and maybe could have held him off, but he didn't get as good a restart. Maybe Danny Lasowski anticipated a little more, but everything looks okay. Looks like maybe he just spun the tires a little bit and didn't get as good a restart.
Seems like he's struggling a little bit to get up to speed, to maybe get his rhythm. Could see Danny get in front of him, maybe throw him off his game a little bit.
It does. It really does. You get off your rhythm a little bit. Maybe folks, okay, now what do I have to do? The car couldn't be getting just looser. The tire compound a little soft. Maybe they're giving up on him a little bit as he's falling back now. Jason Myers closing in behind him.
Chad Kemenow, you see working the bottom there, still fighting for 5th, trying to catch Craig Delansky. And Jason Myers trying to reel in the backside of Terry McCarl. There's Lasowski's car. This race car is a bent piece of machinery. It was in Danny's race shop with 10 to go when that big tornado ripped through his shop. In fact, Danny told me one of the garage doors was literally wrapped around the body of this race car. Some of the bars were bent. Danny told his crew chief, Jimmy Carr, I don't care. We're racing this car. Bend those tubes back. Let's go to Knoxville and win us another one.
Yeah, they liked the car. They straightened those out, as you said. It was basically the bottom frame rail. Not a real critical part of the racetrack, or race car rather. Not torsion tubes and things like that, but they got it back straight. Right now, it's working really well.
Shane Stewart in the 4M. That's the blue car with the white wing. Sits in 12. Up top he comes. Racing with John Vandenberg. That's a battle for 10th. And here comes Lasowski, working the high side. The Mopar powered number 20. And you know his car owner, Tony Stewart, sitting in his motor coach back at Watkins Glen, getting ready for the Cup race there tomorrow, jumping up and down, cheering his driver on.
Starting to come into into some lap traffic with 7 to go, but with a huge lead like that, hopefully he'll take a little bit of time here and pick his way through traffic, try to time it to where he catches them on the straightaways where it's easier to pass.
When he was a kid, he worked in a bullet factory, building bullets for guns. He finally got tired of taking off too much time to go racing and said, that's it, I'm quitting, I'm going racing full time. And now, he is on his way to becoming a 4-time winner of the race he dreamed of as a kid, just winning once.
He was so fired up after getting put to the rear of that scramble by not going to the scales last night. Again, he said if he had a fast race car and go from the second row, he can win this race. And right now, he's proven it. Look how
4 to go, Brad.
Look how shiny the racetrack is. Leaning up there on the cushion.
Just a couple of doors down from our TV booth. His mother is here, his father George, his wife Chris, his son Landon, and his daughter Hope, all here cheering him on. There's Craig Kinzer's car, the 11K. Antill continues to run, and the battle for second rages on as Terry McCarl continues to fend off. There's McCarl, and he's hanging on in front of Jason Myers, but Chad Kemenoff comes up the inside and takes second place away from McCarl. That car just going away from Terry, Brad.
Yeah, Chad Kemenoff ran second here earlier this year in a World of Outlaws race. Terry McCarl's car is really getting loose. See Jason Myers, and that's Jeff Shepard in the red car behind him. But
and they're all battling for third right now because Shepard runs in fifth. The white flag from Doug Clark. Daniel Lasoski on his way to his 84th career victory at the famed Knoxville Raceway. 2 more corners, and Daniel Lasoski is about to win his 4th Knoxville Nationals. Second place goes to Chad Kemenoff, third to Jeff Shepard, fourth to Jason Myers, and a disappointed fifth, a heartbroken fifth to Terry McCarl.
Terry's car really getting loose there. Jeff Shepard up to third, started at 15th, a good run for him, but Terry McCarl, you can see the car really getting loose.
Guess who's going to the scales? He ain't gonna miss it tonight. And you're going with him. 1375 is what he's got to be with Danny in the car. 1434, you're good. There's your winner. For the 4th time in history, Danny Lasoski is a Knoxville Nationals champion.
Second spot to the 15K at Jack Kemenoff. How about it? Provided basically nowhere.
And Brad, he did it again. We saw him before win this race, not by just running the bottom. He did that twice. The last 2 times he's done it, he's won by going wherever he needed to.
Well, everybody has gotten so fast that maybe the days of sticking to one line and being fast to win that race are over. You've got to be able to move around. Jimmy Carr did a great job getting this race car fast enough where he could move around all this heavy lap traffic in this sprint car racing today that you're battling through. You have to move around, and he did it, and man, that race car was fast.
The dude from Dover with a race car that was beat up in a tornado has won the biggest sprint car race on the planet. Stay with us. We're coming back to talk to him on Speed. Speed Channel's coverage of the 44th Knoxville Nationals is brought to you by Ford and the Midwest Ford dealers. Ford is the official truck of NASCAR. Well, let's head down to Victory Lane, where the winner for the 4th time in his career is standing by with Dave Arkenbright.
Danny Lasoski shook my hand and gave me a laugh of absolute glee.
Tony Stewart, if you're looking at this, this is for you. Thank you for believing in me and my team. I love you to death, man. Thank you.
Last night, there was a bit of controversy with the scales issue. Did that give you any extra inspiration tonight?
Absolutely, positively. As you well know, with Knoxville, it's near and dear to my heart, and everyone thinks they get screwed every now and then, and I think we did, but it doesn't matter. Just put on for a bigger, exciting show starting 4th.
Now, a moment ago, we saw during the race, on the 1 restart, Terry got a great jump, but it was called back to the yellow. How big a factor was that?
Well, you know, Terry was getting good starts. He was choking us down and getting a good start, and that's the thing you do. You know, he did a great job, but he left the bottom open, and we took advantage of it. You know, he runs here every week, and you can't take that from him. You know, he did a great job, but this JD Byrider Home Depot Mopar team just keeps plugging away, and I want to thank Paul Kistler, Hoosier Tires, Eagle Chassis, all this stuff makes it possible for us to be here.
We showed a pass for the lead up there a moment ago. When you got past him, were you concerned at all about lap traffic and him being right there?
I kept praying for lap traffic. I know the whole time we had clean track, and he was tough in clean track, but as soon as we seen lap cars coming, I was praying for that, but it never did come into a factor. But I'll tell you what, this is neat. Knoxville Nationals 4. Oh my God, thank you very much.
Rank this, Danny, if you could. This is the 4th. Where does it rank in terms of sweetness and success?
Well, we were very fortunate enough to win an IROC race at Texas, and I told him there, I said that was so special to me, but Knoxville Nationals is what it's all about. It's our Daytona 500, Indianapolis, and mixed of one. And again, Tony, thank you very much.
We congratulate you. Great job. Let's go to Tony Bachhoven.
Well, Terry, I know 5th place isn't what you wanted, but still a great run for you here at the Nationals.
Yeah, you know, we ran 5th a few years ago here, and we were pretty excited about it. But right now, we're a little disappointed. We had a real good car there, sealed the tires up late in the race, got real loose. But Danny did a good job, and I like putting on a good show for the fans. But I like it when we end up winning it.
Is sealing up the tires, is that what happened with all the yellows?
Well, for me, I kind of run the throttle. I'm not one of them guys that run it flat out, and probably should have been flat-footing a little more, keeping it. But that's just the way I run my car. Danny did a great job, and he's a deserved champion, but we'll be back. We'll be back next year, and we're going to get better and better.
You guys really stepped your team up this year. Tell us about that.
Well, that's from Tom Queering, Big Game Tree Stands, and Country Brothers Construction, the Oakville family out in California. I hope they're watching. They're like my second family out there. They don't get to see this car race very often. They still support me. Without all these names on these cars, we don't have one big sponsor like a lot of these guys, and working real hard to get on the tour next year and race with them more. And you know, it's just a tough deal. Danny's a champion because he hates to lose, and I'm a champion because I hate to lose too, and I can't wait for next year.
You made everyone in Iowa proud tonight. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, I need to thank Fleet Buying Group, Sander Engineering, Eagle, all my guys. Like I said, you know, we got a lot of little sponsors, and without these people, Westmar Racing Engines put a great engine. That's what, you know, they call this motorsports for a reason. You gotta have a good motor, and Bob and Dan, the guys at Westmar, got with Brodex and Weldtech, Debbie Weld, and put a great motor together for us. That's what's been our key.
Thanks, Terry. Let's go back upstairs.
A class act, Terry McCarl, and I guarantee you one thing, Brad, as heartbroken as he is, he will be here till the last fan is done asking for an autograph.
Oh, absolutely. He sticks around. He is loyal to his fans, and as you said, he'll be down there all night if that's what it takes.
Here is the top 20, but of course, number 1 is wrong. It's not Stevie Walsh as much as Stevie would like it to be. It is Danny Lisowski. As you look at the top 20. Working our way through that, Jason Sides, Tim Kading in 17th, Craig Kinzer in 18th. Well, what do you think?
Great Nationals, obviously for those guys, but Chad and Brian Kemenall to finish 2nd, Jeff Shepard from 14th to 3rd.
There's Danny's crew chief, Jimmy Carr, just to the left of him. There's Danny's dad, George, holding the helmet.
They got motors, but I got Jimmy Carr. That's all.
And a great night. The party will go on late into the night here.
You heard him say what some of the other teams said they have, but he said, I've got Jimmy Carr.
And that's a huge thing because Jimmy Carr is a former sprint car racer himself, and that makes a huge difference.
Those two think a lot alike.
They sure do. It's been a great week here at Knoxville. The latest we have, by the way, on Curtis Boyer, the driver who was injured earlier, is he has been transferred now to a hospital in the Des Moines area. Well, the Knoxville Nationals is done for another year. Speed Channel will be back here later this year for the Dirt Late Model season finale. Make sure you join us then. And we'll be back in the coming seasons as we've extended our contract here with Knoxville, bring you more live Knoxville Nationals coverage, as well as the 360 Nationals in the future. For Tony Bachhoven and Dave Argabright, who did such a great job downstairs tonight, and my old pal Brad Doty, let's join ourselves back here again next year for some more great sprint cars. What do you say?
I cannot wait. It's always a bunch of fun, Ralph.
Congratulations to Danny Lisowski and Tony Stewart on their Knoxville Nationals Championship. I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long from Midwest Mecca Mud, Knoxville.